sleep last night? My girl, so lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines where the sun will never shine, I would shiver. Not
Wow. I like the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nirvana's tough, man.
I'll be honest, I was a little shaky early on.
Oh, it's because of the guitar. It threw me off. So sorry, Kurt, if you're listening. My bad, buddy.
At least of his concerns, I am sure.
Typical. Happy anniversary, man.
It's Rockstar in the Lounge, presented by Floribama. Go to their website to see more, Floribama.com. All right, everybody, enjoy the Final Four. We'll be with you tomorrow. You can catch us live at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock as we talk Alabama and UConn. Enjoy the tournament. We'll see you Monday right here on the Next Round.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live daily show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. Nextroundlive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to nextroundlive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Well, what a weekend. He is Lance Taylor. I am Ryan Brown. You see the fake Jim Dunaway in Jim Dunaway's seat. If you're watching us, that means he is still in the desert. Jimmy D joins us just outside of Fan Fest there in Phoenix. We have got so much to get to. Alabama plays and drops a game in the Final Four. SMU hath wrought on us a path of destruction in college basketball that has not ended, but has resulted in a shocking coaching move to me overnight. Auburn had an 8A. We got a lot to get to. We got to start with the Final Four, though.
Well, I think we extract what you said there, and Dunaway will bring you in here. But I'll tell you, leave it to John Calipari to hijack everything from maybe the greatest player we've ever seen lose at a championship setting, which, by the way, I never saw myself walking 2.5 blocks to go to a brewery to watch a women's game, but I did, and I watched I
left that part out.
All 40 minutes of that, and then from that to a heavyweight matchup we've got tonight. I mean, Calipari has, stole the entire show. And I got a lot of opinions on that, but, wow, the timing of this is it's so Calipari.
I'll start with the fact that I think it's a bad move by Arkansas. I'll just say that right out of the bat. I think you're getting the end of the career of John Calipari. And I don't understand what Arkansas is doing. It's a last gasp, I guess, for them to try to get back to that great program they were in the 90s. I don't understand what they're doing. They're the Tyson folks. I hope the price of my chicken doesn't go up for this move, because I think it's a chicken what kind of move by Arkansas. I think they'll regret it when it's all said and done.
I'll get to my point. I think you're insane, though.
You think you're insane that it's a bad move?
I think it's a great move for Arkansas. I think it's a great move.
Oh, my God.
I mean, look, Calipari, you leave the best basketball program for Arkansas. But if you go back and you look, I think he is going to be rejuvenated. He is going to have that Tyson money. He's going to have the Walton money. He can reach out to a guy like Jerry Jones. He's going to have all of the money that he wants in that collective to go get whatever he wants. And I think because he's going to be fired up about how he was kind of pushed out a little bit. And I know it was a lot about him. He got lazy. I'll give you that. But I think there's going to be a spark now. That Arkansas job's really good. I think he's going to take it to another level.
You think he's going to have more money? I mean, how much more money do you need than Kentucky bourbon and Kentucky horse racing money? You think he's going to have more money than he had in Kentucky?
But that's what all the national guys are saying about this. Is Cal gets a recommitment to his NIL efforts, making it sound as if he couldn't get everything he wanted at Kentucky, and the Tyson family has said, we'll give it all to you at Arkansas. That's all. I mean, the Jeff Goodmans and everybody in the world, Dunaway, that know basketball, that's what they're saying about this.
Am I missing something?
Apparently.
Does he not sign six blue chippers every year?
Yeah, no. To your point, I mean, what more are you going to get?
He does. Yeah. I think Calipari just kind of got lazy on the coaching. I think and I don't know this. We're not in the locker room. I'm going to say the culture probably is not nearly where it needed to be. But if you go back to his first 6 years in Lexington, he went to 4 Final Fours, won a national championship, was a runner-up in the other season. So if you can just closely resemble those first 6 years, which I think Arkansas from day one is going to be a power under Calipari.
Hey, absolutely. And at one point, the DC-10 was the greatest plane on the planet, but it aged out as well. I'm telling you that John Calipari, lazy is lazy, LT. Once you develop laziness in your career, you do not get rid of laziness. And he is lazy now. He's old. He's fat. He's rich. He's happy. And he is done. Auburn ended him in 2019 in the NCAA tournament, and he has not done anything since. You're getting a middle-of-the-pack SEC coach now who's been bounced twice by double-digit seeds. You lost, I think, now a younger, hungrier coach to USC. Now, we all know why this is a bigger story than the actual game on Saturday night here locally, and that's because of what Brown's about to bring up. The number one candidate on Kentucky's hit list is going to be Nate Oates, and we'll see what happens down the road. Greg Byrne has got the contract, got the buyout. Nate Oates has never indicated he wants to go anywhere else. But as anyone tells you from Sports, and they had everybody who's behind me in the Phoenix Civic Center was on Sports Center overnight. They were pulling guys out of media parties last night, pulling them out. They were holding their phones like I do on some of my shots pre-game on our platform. They were holding their phones on Sports Center, giving their hot takes last night. And every one of them said, you know who would be a perfect fit there? Nate Oates.
Well, and we'll discuss that. Let's do it in the next segment, though, because I want to give the Final Four its due. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Cal hijacking the Final Four. It was played by a team in this state. Dunaway was there. I want to give it its due. A reminder, another great event in this state is NASCAR coming back to the Talladega Super Speedway. 877-GO-TO-DEGA. 877-GO-TO-DEGA for you to take part in the Geico 500 weekend. It is coming up in just a couple of weekends from right now, the 19th through the 21st. You can go see it all for yourself. Enhance your experience with the Garage Experience presented by Coolray. You get all of that at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. It is the fastest racing in NASCAR. If you've never done it, you're cheating yourself. 877-GO-TO-DEGA, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. The reason that all those ESPN people were holding phones out talking about Nate Oates, one of the reasons is he's a Final Four coach. Alabama played their first Final Four game ever. It did not end like Alabama wanted it to end, and primarily, Lance, because UConn is just an incredible machine right now.
Yeah, look, man, maybe I slept a little bit on UConn. I know it's a team that's sitting there at 36-3. They're your defending national champions. But the way Alabama played, making 9 of their first 12 perimeter shots, exactly what they needed to do. But, I mean, UConn answered it every turn. And I will say this, just sitting on the couch watching, I wasn't on postgame with you guys, UConn got the calls. Alabama got gypped on a lot of calls. And I'm looking for this more as if they would have gotten the calls, Alabama covers this game. I don't think they were going to win this game, but I think it would have been a lot closer. Give Alabama a lot of credit getting to their first Final Four. They played their asses off, but UConn's just that good.
Yeah, my takeaway, Brown, was for, 37 minutes and 19 seconds, something like that. They were toe-to-toe with what I think will end up being the best team in the country after tonight's game. But the moment did not look too big for that team in their first Final Four. And as you said, shooting 70% from three in a dome stadium with 76,000 fans in the first half. I was talking to some UConn fans yesterday at breakfast, and they were like, I know we lost 3 games this year, but that was the toughest team we've played this year. And we were all talking at halftime, and these are UConn season ticket holders. They were like, if we can just get them down to hitting 50% of their threes, we'll win the game. And if they keep hitting all these threes, we're just going to tip our hat and say good luck in the national championship. I thought it was an impressive performance. It just looked a little at the end like when, an 8-0 run by UConn, and then Alabama went on a 7-0 run to get back. And then it was a 7-0 run by UConn, and then Alabama did a 7-0 run to get back. And then that next 8-0 run, it looked like all those runs to catch back up and get even gassed Alabama. And they just ran out of gas at the end, it looked like to me.
Well, and you just don't have an answer for Donovan Clingan. That's what's going to be so awesome about tonight. And I'm going to say this. Clingan is a better player than Edey. I mean, the way
wow.
I was going the other way. I think Edey's a better player than Clingan. Because Clingan, Edey played 40 minutes in the semifinals.
I get that, but he doesn't move around. Yeah. I mean, Clingan's doing so many athletic things. Next level, Clingan will be such a better NBA player. But I think the way he's playing right now, he is, the way he's defending right now, he has completely changed their defense.
Oh, no, I would agree with you there. I think next level, I would take Clingan. I think Clingan's a better athlete. But if they officiate the way they officiate Edey in this championship game, he just plants himself there. That's how he can play 40 minutes. He doesn't move. He can sit there for 40 minutes and trot up and down the court and then plant himself in the lane or right on the lane and doesn't move. I think Edey will have his way with Clingan. I thought Bama's bigs did okay with Clingan for a while in that game until at the end, but he was so disruptive defensively. It's the other players where I think UConn would win the game tonight. And I think it was the other players that ended up the way they defended on the perimeter against Alabama's threes in the second half. They made an adjustment at halftime that just kept Alabama from getting the same looks from three that they got in the first half. And I was so proud of the Alabama fans who were there and that basketball team, Brownie. It was just It was just a surreal experience.
Yeah, Dunaway's coverage from there presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round, where UConn is a 7-point favorite in tonight's game. We'll talk a lot more about tonight's game. We're not just going to focus on what has happened. We'll look forward to it. Jay Bilas with us at 10:30 to discuss that and Alabama's performance in the Final Four and obviously now Cal to Arkansas. The most amazing stat to me, this is the most amazing stat. Like, you look at stats all over this game and say, here's where UConn won it, here's where Alabama lost it. The most amazing stat to me, and this just speaks volumes about UConn's defense, Alabama only squeezed off 23 three-pointers. That's it.
Yeah.
23 three-point attempts. That is so far below what Nate Oates wanted, and it was all their defense.
Yeah, fifth fewest of the season. They averaged 30 per game. You know, and Dunaway's right, the adjustments Hurley was able to make at halftime. And I said this going in, like, I thought it was such a difficult – if everybody out there has the ability to hit threes, and if they're all on, and it looked like they were all on in the first half, I don't know what you do if you're UConn, but they made the adjustments in the second half. That stat, only getting off 23 threes, and UConn in that chaotic game only turning the basketball over 4 times. It just shows you they're just an airtight team.
Yeah, but Dunaway, 23 three-point attempts. If Alabama just gets to their average – it's a ball game late. I mean, that was an incredible credit to UConn's defense that they only allowed those 23 attempts.
Yeah, and if you noticed, I don't know if it shows up on the stat sheet, but it does on Nate Oates' analytics. They also shot more mid-range shots than I've ever seen them shoot in Nate Oates' time in Tuscaloosa. Like, they were having to dribble in to the big guy to kick it back out for threes, and then sometimes they would get so deep in the clock that there were a lot of 7-foot, 8-foot jump shots that they were throwing up, the 7-foot, 8-foot twos, which Nate Oates hates, but they were having to take them because they were running out of clock, or that was the only shot that they could get off that was an open shot. So they did in the second half get them out of what they wanted to do offensively. And then you know, the post-game locker room discussion when I got into there, and I know we'll hear from some of that. If not, it's all over our social media, thanks to our friends at MyBookie. It's a down locker room after the game, because you can't really at that moment soak in everything you've accomplished because you wanted it to continue. But when they arrived back in Tuscaloosa, there were fans there. I was at the team hotel when they were leaving yesterday morning. Still hadn't sunk in with them yet. They were still a lot of long faces a little bit. It was starting to turn a little bit that they had made history. But it was a special run through the NCAA tournament. And again, I just go back to looking out and 76,000 fans. And a stream of crimson all the way into the upper deck of the fans who showed up for this basketball team. It was just like it was when I was with Auburn in 2019. Just surreal to see teams from our state there. And as long as Nate's at Alabama and Bruce is at Auburn, I don't think we're done yet. I think despite what Arkansas is doing, 2 of the best SEC programs in the conference are right here in our state.
We will discuss that more. Real quick, Odie's is a place to go Wednesday night.
Yeah, Rockstar was out there on Friday night.
How'd it go, Rocky?
Will's dating Rockstar.
There we go. It went really well.
Was Doug there too? You dated Will and Doug?
Yeah, featuring Doug. We did a little petty set. It was really good. Had a good time.
Okay.
Live music every Friday, Saturday night at the original where Rockstar was in Crestline. Also the newest location in Edgewood. Great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, that Diablo sandwich. Stop in, ice cold beer buckets. Full of the Bud Light. Knock off work early on a Monday. It's going to be like 78 degrees later today in the Birmingham area. Stop by, see Will Haver and that great staff. Odie's Tavern, 2 locations, the original in Crestline, now Edgewood.
Don't you think big men get called differently, though, and it benefits them?
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time. Now, sometimes you'll get a ref that's any block shot by a big man, he's going to get whistled. But I think most of the time they get the benefit of the doubt. I think that's true of Edie and Klingon.
Yeah, and look, and I'm going to contradict myself because I'll just want to give you full disclosure. I like Purdue. I told you guys on Saturday, I've got a feeling that Purdue is going to – and Purdue played one of the worst games I've seen them play all year, and they still win the game going away by 13 against NC State. Braden Smith was awful. But if Purdue's guards play like they've played the majority of the season, I think Purdue's got an opportunity to win this game. So I don't know if Klingon's going to get the best of Edie right now. I just think Klingon's the better player.
Yeah. Dunaway, it did.
And I like Edie's a better college player. Klingon will be a better NBA, but I like UConn tonight.
So you guys you could not be any more opposite than you are right now. That's what you're telling me.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
That is perfect.
Yeah, I know, but he's defending Klingon is better than Edie, but he's going with Purdue. I think Edie's better than Klingon, but I'm going with UConn. It's crazy.
Well, Klingon at least will attempt some three-pointers. I mean, that's what they like. Edie's got 2 3-point attempts his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, Klingon's still got a lot to work on his range, but I'm just talking about, man, how he has become a defensive force. Because this was a guy that was just a contributor off the bench last year. And now he's become dominant, especially in his last 10 games.
So, Dunaway, my fear for Alabama, though, in that game was you look up, at the 10-minute mark and UConn's already up 15. Like, Alabama didn't belong, and they play scared, and they play tight. And I'm not trying to make this a moral victory for Alabama. It was a victory for them to get to the Final Four. They'd never done that. But I'm just saying that was my fear for Alabama, is that UConn starts that game on like a 12-2 run. Nate Oates got to burn an early timeout and say, guys, settle down. This is just a basketball game. And that was not the case at all. I mean, Alabama, as you said, went toe-to-toe with them for a very long time. I feared that for Alabama, though, Jim, and I don't know if you did the same, that it was going to be like a 12-2 start by UConn, and Alabama was in a hole they couldn't get out of before, the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, you guys know Coach Lenny Acuff, who loves our show now at Lipscomb. He was sitting behind me on media row. He was first row of the seats, and that's where all the legendary coaches sit. It was Lenny, then it was Purdue legend Gene Cady, Roy Williams, the dude from Oregon, the dude from Baylor. It was on Bruce Pearl. They were all on the row right behind me on press row. And I was coming back at halftime from going to the restroom, and Lenny, I was like, so they're still in it, 44-40. And he gave me some X's and O comment, and then he said they would take right now down 4 with 4 minutes to go, because then all the pressure's on UConn. If they're within 4 in that final media timeout, like we talked with North Carolina, and it came true against North Carolina, Alabama just couldn't get it to that pressure point on the defending national champs, #1 seed, to where the pressure would have been on them in that last media timeout. Those runs to start the second half, 8-0, 7-0, 8-0 runs, gave UConn the comfort to finish that game out. They were close, man. I know the score ended up being double digits down the stretch, but I thought it was a heck of an effort.
Yeah, I agree. The score was not indicative of the way that game really played out. But UConn, this run they're on, it's their 11th NCAA tournament win by 13-plus points. And they have just been flat out dominant. I think the difference, though, I think Purdue, with all of their experience, you mentioned what Lenny told you, and we've kind of talked about that. UConn has not been in one of these tight games. Just got a feeling that Purdue is going to make it tight down the stretch, and we'll see how UConn responds.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dunaway. They never could. In the second, I think in the first half, UConn might have felt the pressure a little bit. They might have been like, okay, we've throughout this tournament, this game has been over at this point, right? This game is far from over. But they made a championship response to feeling that pressure. That's what North Carolina couldn't do. North Carolina wasn't a championship team because when Alabama reached that pressure point with Carolina, they couldn't respond in kind. UConn did, and that's championship material right there when a team challenges you. And it was a tie game, at the 12-minute mark, something like that, 10-minute mark. It's still 56-56 or something like that. That's deeper than anybody's taken them in the tournament in a long time. And they responded with championship material. That's what you expect out of UConn.
Yeah, and Mark Sears, that early third foul on Grant Nelson. I think Alabama's defense just wasn't as aggressive down the stretch as it had been until they picked up those third fouls. And however it rotated around, Nick Pringle really didn't play a big factor in the final 12 minutes of the game. He wasn't, for most of the time when Klingon was out there, Pringle was out there, and that wasn't the case in the final 12 minutes. Probably an offensive switch there, having 5 guys who could score the basketball a lot easier on the floor at that point. They gave Diabate a run down the lane to see if his physicality inside could make an impact. They shot their bullets and just didn't have the right silver bullet at the end to get the W.
So Alabama falls. It is UConn-Purdue tonight. Will you be at the game, Dunaway? I know you guys are red-eye back after the game, right?
I don't know if it's after the game or tomorrow morning.
Okay, tomorrow morning.
I really haven't checked our exit flight. We've got the same seats that we had the other night, and as my phone showed me, apparently when they do the analyst shot on the court side, when they're breaking it down, I am framed up perfectly between Grant Hill and onions.
Yes. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see Dunaway when they went to the announcer shot?
I never did.
Rockstar, did you even watch the game?
I watched very little.
Yeah, very little. Did not see Dunaway. I mean, Dunaway right there centered up like he's Tracy Wolfson or something. I mean,
I never noticed.
Perfectly centered up. And the first time they went to it, everybody in my basement was like, "There's Dunaway."
Yeah, and so that's one seat. Our second seat is in the end zone, behind the south goal. So I have told Little T tonight that our credentials are good tonight. We got the same seats, and I told Little T, I said, maybe just for the good of the show, you take the courtside seat and be framed up, and I'll sit in the end zone seat. She doesn't. There are a lot of NBA stars that are sitting and celebrities in the south end zone, so she may. I think she thinks Theo Vaughn may show up tonight.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if she's going to be courtside or, I don't know who she thinks, but she was sitting next to Danny Green during the Alabama game the other night. Remember Danny Green?
I do remember.
Former Carolina
Former
star.
Tar Heel,
Yeah, Tar Heel, yeah.
Yeah. All-time leading scorer.
Yeah. The stars that come out, man. I mean, you saw Shaq back there, which was amazing. I don't know if it's your video or Little T's. When Zach Edey walks up to Shaq, Shaq looks up to him. I mean, that blew me away. Shaq's one of the biggest humans I have ever seen in my life.
I mean, 7'4", 7'4".
Yeah, but I mean, he looks up to Zach Edey.
There it is, right here.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's showing us a video. Look at when Shaq talks to him, he has to tilt his head back a little bit. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's Little T's video, and if you saw the one that TNT used in the broadcast, you'd see Little T shooting that video. She was because our phone was blowing up, and there's Little T.
You guys are everywhere. No, I was blown away by that Shaq has to look. I mean, I knew he was taller than Shaq, but to see Shaq kind of have to bend his head back that just tells you how big Edey is, because Shaq is a mammoth human. All right, Dunaway was out there. We'll hear from Charles Barkley. He had a funny exchange with Dunaway. They were at a Redmont party, though. With Charles, our friends at Redmont, having a party out there.
Hey, available in 22 states now. Ask for it by name if you're a local bar, local restaurant. They don't have it. Tell them to get it. It is Redmont Vodka, locally owned and operated. You mentioned Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. Gluten-free, 8 times distilled. Again, available at your ABC store, package stores like Beverage Place. Pink package. It is Redmont Vodka.
All right, so Alabama falls, UConn advances, NC State falls, Purdue advances. That was a pretty boring game to me, frankly. I mean, I know if you had money involved, maybe, but it was just kind of a hard watch for me.
I mean, look, this NC State team had won 9 consecutive elimination games. DJ Burns had been the story. The Dancing Bear only has 8 points, 4 of 10, only had 1 rebound. He was taken out of the game, and Purdue's guards played awful basketball, but, they found a way to grind this out and win, and I fully expect Purdue will play a much different style of basketball tonight.
Yeah, Dunaway, I know there are a ton of Purdue fans there, so that probably added to the atmosphere. Ooh. But on TV, that game just didn't have a whole lot of pop to it for me.
I think NC State, UConn, and Alabama, UConn maybe a little bit more than NC State and Alabama, but they are all really close. Purdue, by far, the most fans here. I'm bad at percentages, but if I had to give one, I would have said 40% of the 76,000 fans felt like Purdue fans. They were all over the place, and they were loud, and you see them all over town when you go to eat or drink or
it looked like that on the camera to me, too. Just seeing the black and gold really jumped out.
Yeah, it's an impressive fan base, and they're really, really, really hungry for – they haven't been here since 1980 either, so they're hungry to get a dub tonight. And UConn's had theirs, so the hungrier fan base by far is Purdue. But just an amazing scene to be in this football stadium and just see 76,000. I mean, it was packed. It was packed to the rim. No bad. Well, they had a couple of slithers from the adjusted seats that didn't have people in them, but they make up for those on floor seats. It was just a huge crowd and a great atmosphere.
Yep. So we'll get to all of that. Back to the Cal going to Arkansas storyline and who Kentucky's top pick will be and why it may or may not work. We'll do all of that. Dunaway's, you're in Phoenix. Way to Wellness is there on the trip with you, making sure you're a svelte Jimmy Dunaway when you return.
Yeah, they'll be with me when I get back to Birmingham. They were not with me last night when Little T and I finally finished our show yesterday with our friends at MyBookie, and we jumped and had some smash burgers.
Oh yeah,
at the Huss brewery right here across from FanFest. Had a couple of their Huss blondes and then smash burger, double patty for me. But Way to Wellness will be there when I get back to town, and they'll get me back down to that smooth 189, and then it'll be pool season before you know it. It's our friends at Way to Wellness. The website's a planforme.com, a planforme.com. Your journey to healthy living, no contracts, no sign-up fees. They can help you with blood pressure, cholesterol, and that weight loss. Planforme.com. Brownie, it's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
So SMU fires a coach, and it starts a firestorm in college basketball, what it means for the SEC and this state. And I'll have to ask a question I asked Friday, because now there could be a different answer. We'll get Dunaway's answer, Lance's answer, all of that when we return. Dunaway's in Phoenix with MyBookie.ag at the Final Four. This is the next round.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the next round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
The next round golf card is here. It's your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $99. Get 18 holes plus a cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club, presented by the Urology Centers of Alabama. That's a value of $247 for just $99. Or get the next round deluxe golf card for $119. That gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive next round golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The card is good through October of 2024. Supplies are limited, so get your golf card now at nextround.store.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
We continue on the next round. A reminder, you get the next round golf card right now. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $99, 18 holes of golf, and card at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Newly renovated, the historic Woodward Golf Club there. So presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. $247 value, just $99. Get the deluxe card for $119. Gives you all the courses with cart, plus an extra golf shirt, koozie, golf tees, and sticker. No restrictions. Card good through October 2024. 2024. Supplies are limited, so get that card now. NextRound.store for the Next Round golf card, presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. NextRound.store. It is Masters Week, so golf is officially here for a lot of people. Get that golf card now. All right, Dunaway continues from Phoenix, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NextRound when you sign on there. The Final Four wraps up tonight with the national championship game. UConn and Purdue. They're going to play the game sometime around midnight for reasons unknown to this old man. It becomes very, very difficult to stay up to watch that. What the 8:37 is the official tip.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Oh my gosh, Dunaway, you're a TV guy. Explain it to me, Jim.
I have no idea. 8:37 is a late start.
8:20. 8:20, I think officially. I had that wrong. 8:20. Yeah.
I mean, the West Coast doesn't care about this game.
No,
it started at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Why, Dunaway?
You're asking questions that I can't answer. Just because I'm in the Pacific time zone doesn't mean I can tell you why we're tipping it off 6:20 local time.
Yeah. So it'll be a late finish if you want to stay up and watch that one. Again, at mybookie.ag. UConn, a 7-point favorite, a total of 145, so a little bit of a low total. Now, as Dunaway mentioned last night, he's there in Phoenix. All the ESPN people are around there, and when the story breaks late, I had gone to bed, frankly. I did not find out about this till this morning.
I found out about it in the middle of the night because a buddy had sent me a text, with the wide eye emoji.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it, and it was one of those things I couldn't go back to bed without processing it for a little bit, and I was like, I actually think this is a genius move.
Yeah. So I woke up to this news this morning, Dunaway, but you saw the ESPN guys pulled out of parties doing hits, and all of them, when asked for their top candidates, say Nate Oates in the sentence with some other guys, Scott Drew, Mark Few. I mean, you could list a lot of guys, but Nate Oates is in all of those sentences when the Jeff Goodmans and Pete Thamels and whoever covers basketball starts to make those lists.
He is, and that's a compliment. And, Nate Oates is a Final Four coach now, and his style of basketball, if you'll notice, Calipari sort of shifted to more threes this year. There's a trend in basketball that is, shifting to the NBA style. It happens in college and in college football, and it's happening now where you see the way Nate Oates likes to play, and he's not the only one. A lot of coaches play this way. It's the NBA style. Either you're getting it at the rim or you're shooting threes. At the rim, shooting threes. Golden State and the Splash Brothers really got that going back in the day. And it's a very NBA style. Cal shifted a little bit to that this year, a little bit more than he has in the past. And I think it's the style of the future, and I think that's one reason why Nate Oates and his analytics is on the list. But I'll ask you guys. Nate Oates has given no indication so far about any desire to leave Tuscaloosa. But this is a different job than any other job that's been open yet, right?
Well, and I know what you meant when you said that. I would say actually he has done away because he's agreed to very large buyouts, which is an indication he's comfortable in Tuscaloosa, right?
Yeah.
I know what you were saying
about leaving.
Right. But $18 million buyout's a significant buyout, and everybody's going to sit here and say, "Oh, this is Kentucky; they can throw $18 million at it." I don't think anybody's ever done that. I think that would be the record for a buyout.
I think the buyout might turn everyone off, but if Kentucky really believes Nate Oates is their guy, and this is the guy that can get them back to what you saw in the first 6 years of John Calipari in Kentucky, then I think it would be well worth the money. And I think if you're Nate Oates, I think ultimately he stays. But if you're Nate Oates, you at least got to listen to this. I mean, this is the greatest job probably in college basketball history.
So there's a lot of ways we can attack this, Dunaway. Let's start with $18 million is a significant buyout. I think, and I've done a little research on this today, I think the largest buyout that anybody is eminently aware of, oddly enough, ironically enough, is the $12 million Alabama just paid to Washington to get Kalen DeBoer. So that just shows you it's one of the myths in college sports that I was guilty of until people started educating us on this, that schools are just willing to pay any amount of buyout to get a coach. Really, they're not. I mean, very rarely do schools pay large buyouts to get a coach. And $18 million would be, by the homework I've done, by far and away a record.
And then they'd have to turn around and pay him more than Alabama's going to pay him.
Yep.
And he's a top five coach. His daughter is in school in Tuscaloosa. His other daughter is on her way to maybe enrolling at Alabama as well. That's a big factor. And who was it? Somebody on our show or was it the last 2 weeks have been such a blur to me, so I don't know. But somebody told me about his love for the Lake Tuscaloosa. Was it Coach Hodge? Was it Hodgson?
I don't
remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember it coming up, but I could have just missed that. Yeah.
Somebody has told me along the way just how much he loves being on the lake, and it may have been on the air in an interview, but he loves his time at Lake Tuscaloosa. I think it was Coach Hodgson, on the fact that he gets out there and he's surfing behind his boat, and he's still surfing after sunset. Like, it's dark and he's still out there.
Wow.
I lived in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a great place. It does not have a great lake close by. So if I'm pitching Nate Oates today, man, if you love the lake, you got to stay in Tuscaloosa. It's Kentucky with a lake.
Well, I mean, if I'm Nate Oates, we've already classified him or categorized him as the greatest coach in Alabama hoops history. You still have an opportunity to do more things that nobody's ever done. I mean, if you go to Kentucky, the expectation is you win a national championship and you fall in a long line of guys that have done it. I mean, how many? So Rupp did it, right?
Yep. Did Joe B win one?
I think Joe B won one. Yep. Tubby won one. Yep. Patino won one. Calipari won one.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost easier to count the guys that haven't won one, Dunaway.
Now do the ones that won two.
Yeah, I mean, you're at Rupp, right? I mean, Rupp's the only one I think that's won multiple there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, he would just.
My point to that being, you can win a national championship and still leave. Sometimes pushed out. Tubby was pushed out. Joe B. Hall was pushed out. I mean, he's the guy that followed Rupp, and he was pushed out. He was the guy Rupp chose, and he was pushed out. It's one of those jobs where you can go and get fired from. I don't see a scenario where Nate Oates gets fired ever from Alabama, ever.
And look, I mean, you go to Kentucky, it's the expectation is you win a national championship, and if you don't, you're an absolute failure.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question about this, Dunaway. First, I need to remind people that the Indy Grand Prix of Alabama is returning. The Indy 500, the road to the Indy 500, April 26th through the 28th. Fastest drivers in the world there. Country music superstar Riley Green, your Grand Marshal. He'll say the most famous words in sports: start your engines. The Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast, so get yours now. In the chat room, Dunaway, and you lived this, okay? You lived it and this affects anybody, Nate Oates, Scott Drew, Mark Few, anybody that you want to throw out here. Royal Payne says Kentucky fans treat basketball losses like football losses, which is exhausting for the coach. You lived it. Was that your experience with Rick Pitino there in the 90s, that one loss in December is treated like Alabama would treat a football loss in October?
Truthfully, when I was there, it was the 2 probation years of Rick Pitino. But that first year they were expecting to lose a lot, and they did. And then it was Pitino's Bombinos the next year, where they won the SEC but was not eligible for the NCAA tournament. But they are, and this is a compliment, or Royal Payne can take it as an insult, but they are the Alabama football fans of basketball. They expect to win every game. They expect to win national championships every year. They expect to be the best team in the SEC. They consider themselves basketball royalty, just like Alabama fans consider themselves football royalty. They are identical fan bases. And yes, they can be exhausting, just like I'm sure Nick Saban would probably tell you if he's being honest. My goodness, we won all these championships here, and we lose a game, and you guys still go crazy. I worked in 2 places my whole career, and the similarities between the Kentucky basketball fans and the Alabama football fans, to me, I cannot separate the 2. They are identical fan base.
Well, and going Alabama from 93 to 2009, not winning a national championship, it seemed like an eternity. 2012 was a long time ago, the last time Kentucky won one of these things.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a special guy to be the Alabama football coach, obviously, and we'll see if that special guy is Kalen DeBoer. Time will tell. Nick Saban was that special guy. It takes a special guy to be the Kentucky basketball coach. I mean, you saw Billy Gillespie. Boy, you want to talk about square peg, round hole. That guy was not fit to be the Kentucky basketball coach, and I think you could tell pretty quickly with him.
And that's why fit is so important, Brownie. I would tell you, like Scott Drew, good name to me to take the Kentucky job, because Baylor, Right now they don't have a home in the Big Ten and the SEC. And if you don't have a Big Ten or SEC home right now for football, I don't know what your future is in college athletics. Those are the only secure places right now. I feel like Baylor will be fine as we move into the future, but you don't know that. But everyone tells me Scott Drew's too. I don't know Scott Drew, and I don't know how he runs his program. But everybody tells me Scott Drew's too clean to be the Kentucky basketball coach. He runs things. He's too nice of a guy. He's too clean. He runs too clean of a program to be at Kentucky. I don't know about Mark Few. To me, Gonzaga's future in the future of college athletics. To me, Mark Few's a heck of a basketball coach. I would jump if I'm Mark Few. I know where my legacy is at Gonzaga, but I don't know what the future. I would pack that legacy up and I would move to Kentucky. Nate Oates is still a young guy, and he may not be at Alabama the rest of his career. I would understand it 100% if he went to Kentucky or Michigan State or North Carolina or Duke someday. But Kentucky's a different job. I think it's the most difficult job in basketball. Hey, and I'm running through my head right now. I think it's the most difficult job in basketball because of the expectation. More than Carolina, more than Duke.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you on that. And the name I haven't heard you say is Dan Hurley. I know he's coaching tonight, but if I'm Kentucky, I make a run at the guy.
No doubt. I make the call. I think he's just brash. He's brash enough. He's like Calipari. He's brash enough to deal with that fan base, Dunaway.
Yeah, I didn't say it because I didn't want you guys to think I was stupid, but I thought it before the show started. I was like, Dan Hurley's at UConn, and I was talking to these guys yesterday, these big UConn boosters, and they're like, every year we fall $30 million behind everyone else in college athletics. And people like us are having to make up the difference. And $30 million a year, making up the difference is hard to do. And I was like, well, UConn is sort of a modern day blue blood basketball program. I didn't want to be the idiot that said, why not Hurley leaving UConn to go to Kentucky? If I'm Kentucky, that is a proven product. I mean, that was a home run hire to me. I would take Hurley over Drew, Mark Few, Nate Oates. I'd take Hurley over anybody. I just didn't want to be the guy to say it because I thought you guys would go.
I can't even
UConn.
I can't even imagine. We've been on a facility tour over the last 6 weeks, both in Tuscaloosa and Auburn. We saw how incredible their facilities are, and I just find it hard to believe if you went to Storrs, Connecticut, that you've got great facilities and that you've got a great NIL behind you. And he would have absolutely. I mean, it would be fitting. You win back-to-back national championships. Sayonara, you're out. And you go to Lexington. I mean, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. Johnston RV Center bringing you part of the show. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator is where you find Johnston RV Center. You can always find them online, johnstonrvcenter.com, johnstonrvcenter.com. They have repriced everything on the lot. They're so confident they got the lowest prices. They are going to beat any price you bring them nationwide on a comparable RV. Lowest prices nationwide. You can see that online at johnstonrvcenter.com. Also see more about the RV warranty forever on anything new and qualifying used. You get a lifetime warranty. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Don't forget, you can drop us your best and worst of the weekend as well. We will get to those. Like Bobby, his best of the weekend and his worst involve you, Lance, he says. His best, the Cubs pounding the Dodgers in 2 out of 3.
They did.
His worst, he stopped watching Curb Your Enthusiasm finale with 25 minutes left because they copied the god-awful Seinfeld finale.
Oh, no, they didn't. Well, I don't want to hear anything. Yeah,
I've heard theories about that all. He was setting it up because everybody hated
the Seinfeld finale.
Yeah, it seemed like there was good because that was kind of a theory out there. But I haven't watched it yet because I was going to watch it with Jack. So
no spoilers for you.
Yeah,
okay. Well, Bobby said he tapped out with 25 left.
I hate to hear that.
There's 25 minutes left in the series.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, run through the finish line there. Our best and worst presented each week by Hemp Hill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you at Hemp Hill Services. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys for more information. HempHillServices.com.
More with Dunaway from Phoenix. We're back here in Birmingham, and why Greg Byrne was a king of exceptional timing. That is next on the next round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com. NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
You've heard me a couple of times say SMU started all of this. John Talty's the first person at 24/7 Sports I've seen point this out. What SMU did to us in college basketball is pretty crazy right now. They had a coach I couldn't pick out a police lineup, to be honest with you. Can't even say his name right now. But when they fired him, man.
Rob Lanier.
When they fired him, it started all of this. NASCAR coming back to Talladega, 877-GO-TO-DEGA, 877-GO-TO-DEGA, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com to get your spot in the Geico 500 weekend coming up April 19th through 21st. You can experience that garage experience presented by Cool Ray. It only adds to the great experience there at the NASCAR. At the Talladega Superspeedway, the fastest track in NASCAR. Get your spot at the Geico 500. Camping, all of that, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
So 2 guys have already turned this Arkansas job down, Dunaway. I don't know if you saw this, but Hunter Yurachek, your athletics director, went immediately after Chris Beard. And Chris Beard, was he going to stay loyal to Ole Miss, giving him that second shot? Obviously he is. And then Jerome Tang at Kansas State. Both of those guys said no thanks. And that's when Yurachek said, you know what? Let's call Cal in Lexington and see what happens here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would assume it was the Tyson people that told Yurachek to call Cal.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Here's the money. Call Cal. So the reason we're here, Rob Lanier gets fired at SMU. Andy Enfield, I think, is one step in front of the posse.
He was.
Says, I'm out at USC. I'm going to take this SMU job to the ACC. Eric Musselman, I don't know if he was one step in front of the posse, but it was back to his home state and all that. Takes the Arkansas job. Now here's Cal at Arkansas. If SMU doesn't fire Rob Lanier, none of this happens.
None of this happens. I just don't think Musselman was happy at Arkansas. I think he was kind of sideways inside with some of the people there and just didn't like that. And maybe Musselman just wanted to go to a program where basketball is not that important. I don't know. It was a very strange move. I know he's familiar with Southern California. But, boy, this is one of the biggest dominoes we've ever seen in college sports as far as a small peg like SMU when you pull it out and everything that happened afterwards.
Yeah, the butterfly.
But let's don't kid ourselves, Brownie. Calipari was one step ahead of the posse, too. Calipari had a meeting with the athletic director that the decision was made then to Cal will be returning. That was Barnhart's tweet. John Calipari will be returning for whatever season it was as Kentucky's head coach. So, I said it on the show when we're sitting here watching an athletic director at Kentucky tweet that John Calipari will return as coach. That doesn't sit well with a guy like John Calipari. That's a fractured relationship. And if you followed the timeline last night, there was Mitch Barnhart kept telling every reporter, a basketball reporter that called him, no, Calipari contractually has not let me know that he's talking to Arkansas. He's got to let me know before he gets into discussion contractually with another school. And you follow that timeline into the wee hours of the morning, Mitch Barnhart at this hour says John Calipari, and he doesn't have a what's being described as a proper agent. John Calipari handles that, and a personal friend handles all of his business. He doesn't have agents like we do, or most of college football does. He handles it. Him and a friend handles all his negotiations. And Barnhart was letting it be known that he is violating his contract if he's talking to anybody representing Arkansas.
Keontae Plummer, I think is his name in the chat room. I'll just call him K Plummer. Says, I'm not leaving UConn or Alabama for UK. Too much pressure to win now. They haven't won an Natty in 12 years with all those one and dones. Is what he says in the chat room there. I don't know what drives every coach, obviously. Some coaches want to be at premier programs. Some coaches are just happy where they are winning games. And I said this about Bruce Pearl after he went to the Final Four. Everybody's like, Auburn won't keep Bruce Pearl. He'll take the next big job, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, but, he can go to the Final Four at Auburn. Why take another job? And I would say the same of Nate Oates.
Yeah, some guys are historians, and they want to coach at what is deemed as the greatest basketball program in the history of college basketball. Possibly. I know that's subjective. So some guys want that. Some guys like the pressure. If you're Dan Hurley, Dunaway said, talking to UConn guys, they're $30 million in debt each and every year. It would be nice to be at a program where you don't have to worry about anything financially. Now, for Nate Oates,
$30 million gap every year that they're having to make up just with non-football TV money coming in that, say, some of the other schools are. They feel like in basketball they're having to fill a $30 million hole that other schools that they see themselves competing against, they're having to fill that up. That's hard to do every year.
Well, you've been there before, Brown. You've been. I haven't been. I've driven past it, but I know Rupp is a historic venue, but when we talk about the modern, has it been renovated? What is it like, that facility?
Yeah.
It's been renovated several times since it opened in the 70s, and it's a really, really good facility. It is, but it's, you guys make fun of me. Yeah, it's not special to me.
Yeah.
The Yum Center is better than Rupp Arena. It doesn't have the history, but the Yum Center is one of the best basketball facilities on the planet. Crypto.com is massive and more modernized than Rupp Arena. So there are basketball facilities that are better facilities than Rupp Arena, but it's got great history. But basically, it's a basketball arena that's connected to a hotel and a small mall. So it has a little 1970s feel to it.
But the practice facility is what we've played the cut again. That was the discussion when John Calipari reminded Mark Stoops with the media, we're a basketball school, not a football school. It was all about the practice facility. And I think the rumor was Cal had gone to all his NBA guys and raised the money, and Kentucky's like, whoa. We can't just do it that way. And that's what pissed Cal off. And now that was several years ago. I think they've updated the basketball facility since, but that was actually Cal's bone of contention with Kentucky Dunaway was their practice facility.
Yeah, well, at a place like Kentucky and you're a guy like John Calipari, if you think somebody else is getting more than you, that's not going to sit well with you, because he seems to be a guy that that wants his due, right? Why is football going to get this? We're a basketball school. And he's going to go to Arkansas, and he's going to be sort of in the same situation. I guess Arkansas is more of a basketball school, but in the SEC, baby, you got to be a football school. That's where the money's coming for. You got to be a football school. If football needs something, you got to keep feeding that beast, or you're not going to be an athletic program that's successful in the SEC. You got to have that football money coming in.
So Brown asked me, I don't think you were on the show Friday, the next team in the SEC to make a Final Four run. I said it was one of 4 or 5 teams. I ended up going with Alabama again, but I think I would go Arkansas now.
Yeah,
I know you're going to laugh about
I wanted
this.
to ask it again. I wanted to ask that question. Do Woodhouse Day Spa. Let Dunaway ruminate for 1 second. Dunaway, this is not the first appearance, it's just the next appearance of the Final Four. Woodhouse Day Spa.
Yeah, look, Woodhouse has been offering great March promotion all month long because if you're going to be watching games, you want to send the wife or girlfriend to the finest day spa. It's located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Get in and see Stuart and the fine folks. Voted America's best day spa since 2009. The Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers, right off of Highway 280. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. You can order gift cards 24/7 online at birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just get in and see Stuart and the fine folks. Tell them the next round sent you.
Landmine Believer thinks Lance is baiting you in for a stake bet here. So I asked this question, Dunaway. On Friday, the next SEC team, I'm not talking about to make their first appearance. Tennessee would be an obvious answer there. I'm just saying the next SEC team you see in the Final Four is who?
I would just say this to LT. With Calipari, if he does end up taking this job officially, I'm going to say Arkansas is going to slide in 6th in my ranking. 6th. I'll have 5 other teams ahead of Arkansas getting there before Cal and the Hogs do. Alabama would be on that list. Tennessee would be on that list. Florida would be on that list. Auburn would be on that list. Texas, now in the SEC, would be on that list before I get to Arkansas. Whoever the next coach at Kentucky would be on that list before Arkansas.
Well, I mean, Rick Barnes doesn't have success in the tournament.
Nope.
He just doesn't.
And Texas hasn't been since Rick Barnes took him, right?
Bruce Pearl, outside of that one run and, the Final Four run, hasn't done anything in the tournament. Florida hasn't done anything in forever.
Nope.
Rodney Terry is not going to be at Texas more than the next, probably next year.
Guys, we're missing the obvious thing here, is that John Calipari is a horrible fit at Arkansas. All the Tyson friends he has and all the chicken money in the world, that's fine. This is going to be a horrible fit. This will be Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform when John Calipari.
Wait, why did Calipari?
I
mean, it was a great fit in Memphis. Memphis is just is East Coast Arkansas.
It's a fancier Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why that's a bad fit.
That was young, hungry UMass Memphis John Calipari. He has been.
He didn't forget how to coach. He didn't forget how to coach, and I will just say this: he has got a chip on his shoulder. And you're right about the Barnhart text. That was something that fueled this guy, and he wants nothing more than to go to Arkansas and prove he's still got it. I think it's a dangerous combination.
Let's cut to the chase. Stake bet: John Calipari never coaches Arkansas in a Final Four. I'll take that stake bet.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
There we go.
Yeah.
The guy's been to 6 Final Fours, UMass,
everywhere
Memphis,
he goes. Yeah,
Kentucky. I mean, this is the second best job he's ever had.
Yeah. He can't cheat now. Everything is legal.
I know.
Everything's legal.
The good news is Arkansas gets to keep the banner up if he goes.
I mean, I don't know how far down on the list it is, but Jerry Jones seems like he's a guy that Calipari would get in his hot tub with him. I would call Jerry Jones today.
Yeah, that's fine. There's only 13 scholarships. What was he not getting at Kentucky that he's going to get at Arkansas?
Look, that was the baffling thing, is just how out of steam Kentucky had gotten. Look, I like Kentucky coming into this tournament. If you would have told me they were in Phoenix, it would have made much more sense than Alabama being there.
Yeah, he's not evaluating talent the same. His offense, I mean, he's trying to find his new offensive identity.
You say that, look around the NBA. Every dominant player is from Kentucky.
Yeah, those are has-beens.
They're all in their 20s, Dunaway.
I know, because they go in their 19. They were one-and-doneers. I mean, they haven't been doing it in the last few years. He's got the one and done machine stopped. They all started clogging up there, screwing up his plan. It just hasn't been working. The game has changed now. Everyone can pay to have a player.
We'll have reaction for the locker
just
room.
real quick, how many former Calipari players are in the top 10 in scoring right now in the NBA?
Top 10? I'd say 5. I'd say he's got half.
I'd say 5. He's got more NBA players. Kentucky's got more NBA players than any other school.
Yeah.
It's in the high 20s.
Well, he's only got 3 in the top 10.
Okay.
I say only 3.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. A third of the top 10.
Yeah.
We will talk more about this as the show goes. We'll get some reaction from the locker room, Dunaway and Little T in the locker room, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. A reminder, it is All-Star season, and our friends at Bandwagon want to help your team look their best and play their best. If you got a vision for your team uniforms, or you're just starting from scratch, it doesn't matter. Bandwagon can help your team hit the field in style. Bandwagon can create any custom apparel, whether your business is looking for their newest polo or your All-Star moms want matching tank tops. Check out their website, bandwagonsports.com, for all your custom apparel needs. Next round, time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com. More from Dunaway and Phoenix and more college basketball reaction after Alabama's loss to UConn when we return on the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Birmingham, your back-to-back champion Birmingham Stallions return to Protective Stadium on Saturday, April 13th as they take on the Memphis Showboats. Enjoy the Fan Fest, on-field opportunities for the kids, and elite professional football. There is something for fans of all ages. Tickets start at just $22. You can buy yours today at theufl.com. With only 5 home games this season, don't miss your chance to cheer on your Birmingham Stallions. Let's pack Protective, Birmingham.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we continue on the next round. Dunaway going to rejoin us momentarily from Phoenix. His coverage there presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on with MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus. Win once with it is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. First, let's get some reaction to Alabama's loss in the Final Four to UConn. Here is Alabama coach Nate Oates on the podium immediately after the game, just trying to digest not just the loss to UConn, but everything that led up to it.
First, just want to thank our guys for getting this school to a Final Four for the first time in school history. We had an unbelievable run, and these guys kind of got us over the hump to get there. So can't say enough about the leadership of these guys, particularly in the last few weeks. So unfortunate that, it ended tonight. We let it get away from us a little bit, but UConn's great. It's going to be a great matchup Monday night. Our guys were really good from this stretch in the NCAA tournament. We just came up a little short tonight, but we came up short against a great team.
Yeah, obviously disappointed, Nate Oates, as you might imagine. Into the locker room. Dunaway and Little T headed into the Alabama locker room. Two players here, and then we'll get Jim's reaction to what Aaron Estrada said there at the end. I found that interesting. First, here's Rylan Griffin. This Alabama team accomplished something that no other Alabama team has accomplished. The Alabama guard puts it in perspective.
When do you think it'll soak in what you guys accomplished this year? Can you do it now? Does it soak in now, or is it something that's going to take a day or two or three?
It's going to take a couple months for me just because, there's teams still playing, and we're not one of them. So it's not going to sink in until at least that's over with. And when that's over with, I think it still needs time to soak in just how good we had, how good of a season we had. But right now, I'm just a little upset we lost. We could have won. Everybody knows it. We lost to a really, really good team. They were probably the only team in the tournament that could beat us, in my opinion. So just lost to a really, really good team.
No way to prove that that's wrong, what Rylan Griffin said. Maybe Purdue could beat them. I don't know.
Well,
but
just a massive accomplishment for this.
Rockstar.
There we go. I said just a massive accomplishment for this program. And you just think about the last couple of years. I mean, you had them, and I know it was disappointing last year, but you had them as the number one overall seed. And then you follow up. There was no expectation for this team coming into the tournament, and they go to a Final Four. So Alabama basketball, and this is not even something you can argue. This is the pinnacle of Alabama basketball.
So here, the pinnacle of Alabama basketball for now. Aaron Estrada says this is not the pinnacle of Alabama basketball.
I didn't even know this soundbite was coming.
Yeah, so here's Dunaway with the only guy that is out of eligibility. More on that in a moment. But the only guy out of eligibility on this roster is Aaron Estrada. Here's Estrada with Dunaway in the locker room after the game, courtesy of MyBookie.ag.
You think you guys laid a foundation that next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, you'll be coming back to this program, will be in a Final Four, and you'll be one of the alumni watching it?
Yeah, I think probably in the next 2 to 3 years, Coach Oates is probably going to win a national championship. If you just look back at, from last year to this year, how much he lost, and to get farther than he did last year when he had the number one ranked team, it just shows how great of a coach he is. So I'm sure, I know he's going to win a national championship within the next 2 to 3 years.
He's going to win a national championship within the next 2 to 3 years, according to Aaron Estrada. You saw in the background there, my guy, Sam Walters. It was going to make a huge impact in the game. 5 minutes, 0 points. Out of Walters.
I don't know if he's
give him enough chances.
I don't know if he's going to win a national championship. I feel pretty good that Oates will be back into a Final Four. I mean, look, the talent's only going to get better. Again, this is the brightest moment we've ever seen in Alabama basketball. And when you, again, not only get to a Final Four for the first time in program history, but when you were the number one overall seed just last year, that shows you the consistency. And by the way, the championships that Oates has already won in the SEC.
So Dunaway, I mean, that's Aaron Estrada telling you after the game, in 2 to 3 years, the guy wins a championship at Alabama. Look, I mean, after what you've seen, those things are so hard to win. I get it, but this is a guy, Jim, that has not missed the NCAA tournament at Alabama, 2 Sweet 16s, and a Final Four. He knows how to advance in this tournament. I mean, it's going to be weird seeing Alabama lift that trophy because they've never done it, but it's also not something I would bet against right now.
Well, the folks at Auburn Twitter did a good job of pointing out overnight and this morning that that Aaron Estrada may be right. The question is, does he win that national championship at Alabama or somewhere else?
There you go.
Because he said just a national championship. So we appreciate Auburn Twitter for that. Yeah, I would tell you, it is so hard just to get to the Final Four. We talked about it before, or when Alabama actually got here and when Auburn got there. It's now been 5 years, 4 seasons since Auburn has been to the Final Four. And that starts to stack up. When Auburn went in 2019, I mean, we were all sitting there going, this is just the beginning for Bruce Pearl, right? And hasn't been back since. You know, it seems like this is just the beginning for Nate Oates. But, you know, how long until they're back? Is it next year? Is it the year after? Final Fours are not guaranteed.
They're not.
These are so hard to do.
They are.
I mean, just ask John Calipari at Kentucky. When's the last time he's been?
Actually, you got to ask him at Arkansas
When's
now.
the last time they've been?
Yeah. Look, though, here's the difference. And I mean, Pearl and Oates, they're obviously both fantastic coaches. And historically, Pearl is the better of the two coaches. In the last 5 years, in the time Oates has been at Alabama, Oates is the better of the two coaches. The one thing I would say that is different is Oates has shown an ability to advance in this tournament before going to the Final Four. Now, Pearl had two. He had just not done it at Auburn yet, Lance. And really, to your point, outside of the Final Four run, he hasn't shown that at Auburn. They've been out in the round of 32. Oates already had 2 Sweet 16s coming to this year and is added a Final Four. He advanced at Buffalo as well. This is a guy that shows he knows how to coach in this tournament.
Yeah, and I wonder if you asked, 100 basketball experts from around the nation, the next program to win their first national championship. Because Baylor was that team 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think Virginia won their first under Tony Bennett 5 years ago. You've only seen 10 different programs over the last 20 years win national championships. As you said, Dunaway, it's so difficult just to get to a Final Four. Once you're there, you've got to win 2 games against elite competition. I don't know if Oates will win one or not. I would say he's probably an underdog to still win one.
Probably. Most coaches are, though.
But I would say he's even money to get back to a Final Four.
Yeah, I would say the betting odds are always against a coach winning a national championship again, right? Because it's just so hard to do.
Well, Mark Few never won one.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's going to win one.
Never won one. So it's so hard to do. It's the toughest, and of all the college sports, I believe it's the toughest to win one. But he's young and he'll have a fighting chance. What I want from Nate Oates today, and Taylor, who is in our hotel, media hotel down the street, about 2 blocks from here, cut this out right now. What I want from Nate Oates today is a statement saying, I understand there are other jobs opening up around the country. Once again, coming off the Final Four, I am committed to Alabama. I don't need to say it every time, but I'll say it again today. I am committed to Alabama. I'd love to see that from Nate Oates today. I know in the real world that doesn't always happen because of positioning and stuff, but I keep waiting every time we come back from commercial break for Brown to open up his email and say, hey, I've got a statement from Nate Oates today. That's what I'm hoping for at some point today before they play the national championship tonight.
Okay, I think you probably will see that.
You think so?
I do. I mean, he's already got his contract. So if he really doesn't want to be at Kentucky, and what that would do, because I've gotten multiple texts from Alabama fans that are really, really nervous about this, I think it would confirm the commitment that Alabama fans saw 2 or 3 weeks ago when he agreed to that huge buyout. What I would love to see is for it to leak, much like, was it John L. Smith when he was coaching at Louisville, that he was going to take the Arkansas job or Michigan State or whatever it was. I'd love for it to leak before the game that Dan Hurley, after this game, is going to take the Kentucky job. I would love that.
You know who that was? It was Les Miles. Remember, SEC championship. Herb Street, I believe, had reported that
taking the Michigan job.
Correct report that he was going to go to Michigan, and then Les Miles was upset that it leaked out, and he went and had that pre-game news conference saying it wasn't true. It was the most insane thing. Well, not the most insane thing. One of the insane memories I have of college football.
Real quick, Gutter Cap, bringing you part of the show today, and I want to talk about that contract because Greg Byrne absolutely rolled the dice on this contract, and boy, does he look like a genius right now, but that after Gutter Cap.
Yeah, basketball has its madness in March. Homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate that gutter cleaning madness forever with our friends at Gutter Cap. Call Chris Stewart today, 205-823-2212, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau for more than 2 decades. On that board of directors, Gutter Cap, it's a patent aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters. It will eliminate the dangerous job of getting on a ladder and cleaning out your gutters. Right now, 45% off the retail price. 205-823-2212. GutterCapBirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It is GutterCap.
So it's easy to forget this in hindsight, Jim, but when you go back to when that contract extension with Nate Oates was announced, basically Ohio State was open. Michigan was either open or about to come open. Everybody knew Howard was done at Michigan. And I think that was the reason that Greg Byrne had to step in. Oh, Louisville was open. Yeah. So
I think Michigan was that job, though, that they were really worried about.
So that was one reason, though. I mean, Nate Oates was coming off a year where he finished second in the Southeastern Conference. That's good. But it was, there had been some disappointing games. It was kind of a weird time contract, but you got it, Jim, because the jobs that were open, you had to secure yourself against those jobs, right? So Nate Oates ends up being a top 5 paid college basketball coach. And then they go out and lay an egg in the SEC tournament. If they lay an egg against Charleston, you look back on that extension a little bit differently. But now that he's going to the Final Four, you look at it and you're like, wow, that was genius by Greg Byrne. And now that Kentucky's open, you're like, wow, that was even more genius by Greg Byrne. Imagine if you're Greg Byrne today and you've got to negotiate Nate Oates' Final Four contract with the Kentucky job open. That is a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah, it is. And I think I'm right about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, because we've seen contracts agreed to in the past and just not signed. But I think we actually have had the announcement of the contract and it has been signed. That has been, I think I'm correct that's been reported that Nate Oates signed the contract.
At very least a memorandum of understanding, which is going to be legally binding there. There might not be the details, but you've agreed on the financials.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and look, and a lot of people are like, well, that contract doesn't matter. If Kentucky comes after him, they're going to get him. Well, yeah, but they're going to get him for $18 million. And that's why that was such a genius play by Greg Byrne. Looking back on it now, you're not having to go. You gave him a Final Four contract before he made the Final Four. But you didn't have to give him a Final Four plus Kentucky being open contract.
No, 100%. That is a game changer. But I would say this. I think it also was a Nate Oates saying, listen, I am committed to you guys too. Let's go ahead and work this out. If you want to do this, let's do it. We'll make an announcement. Let's do it. Let's go. I know the season's still going on, but let's go ahead and do it. He could have slow played this because he knows jobs are going to be open. And you know how the agent world works. Leverage is everything. And Nate had leverage then. He would even have more leverage now. And he made a commitment to go ahead and do that. Not all Jimmy Sexton people. I don't know who represents Nate, but I know Jimmy Sexton clients. Jimmy probably wouldn't have recommended, no, let's just wait till the end of the season. Let's see. Let's just wait till the end of the season and see what we have open, But they went on and signed it.
Yeah,
that was more Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. Hey, it's a Jewish club.
You guys have spent time with Nate Oates. He just doesn't seem like a huge ego guy. And I think to take this Kentucky job, I think there's got to be something involved with the ego. It's about, oh, yeah, I'm Kentucky's next head coach. I don't know if he necessarily cares about that. I mean, he can make as much money at Alabama.
And I think the same would be true for Dan Hurley, though. I mean, what can Dan Hurley not accomplish? Dan
Hurley has an ego.
Oh, he's got a massive ego. There's no doubt. But, I mean, what can he not accomplish at UConn? Nothing. I mean, the guy's been in back-to-back national championship games, may win back-to-back titles for the first time in quite a while.
But, he was talking about the Big East is such a grind, because I think it was somebody on Illinois' roster said, look, they're finally going to play a really tough team, and he was talking about Big East, Big East, Big East. Big East is a great basketball conference, but I still think there is something about competing in the SEC, especially at a team like Kentucky. I think you would have Hurley's ear here. I could be completely wrong, but it would be more surprising to me, and people are going to think I'm insane, if Nate Oates took the Kentucky job than Dan Hurley taking Kentucky.
It would be more surprising if Nate Oates did it than Dan Hurley?
Yes.
I would agree, so. And here's why, because of what you said, Jim. Like, Nate Oates, he's not going to have the biggest NIL in the Southeastern Conference, but he's going to have the tools he needs. And look, I think they'll eventually have the arena. They got a good practice facility, which he's happy with, but I think they'll have the arena at some point. You can make a case for Dan Hurley that he can't get the tools at UConn, even as much as he's won that he can get at Kentucky. So I'm kind of with Lance. I'd be a little more surprised in what Lance said I'd be more surprised if Nate Oates took it than I would if Dan Hurley.
Hey, and real quick, Dunaway, I know you can flip a roster quickly with the portal now, but Alabama is built, if everybody stays outside of Estrada, the only guy that actually doesn't have eligibility, if everybody stays in place, this is a championship-ready roster. Because I think Grant Nelson, I'm going to say Grant Nelson's going to be Dalton Connect next year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I would tell you not everybody will stay right off the bat because they've got 3 big-time recruits coming in. 2 of them McDonald All-American, and the third guy could have been a McDonald All-American if they had more McDonald All-Americans. There are just so many good players. But they got 3 really good recruits coming in. So there will be some guys that will leave, some because they see the writing on the wall playing time, and some of it, like we see with every program, will be a coach's decision to sort of shuffle some people away. So there will be people leaving. So do not think that only Aaron Nostrada will be gone off of this roster and they'll be back intact and add 3 recruits. That would be shocking to me. I do not expect that to happen. What's important, though, is that you want to, if you're staying in Tuscaloosa, you want right now to continue riding this wave off of this Final Four. You've got the great recruiting class coming in, but you're setting up the next recruiting class and the next recruiting class. Plus, it's giving time. There's no better time to start people giving to Alabama basketball than right now. And a Nate Oates announcement today would open up wallets. I think it would continue to ride the wave of what they've accomplished and start giving to Yay Alabama and to the program. And I think it's a good time if you're going to stay. You go ahead and make that announcement and keep the wave going. And that helps financially as well.
Interesting. I mean, Nate Oates might say, look, I've made that commitment in my $18 million buyout, but if I have to say it, I'll say it. Well, you don't want to use that language. We've heard that once.
I have to say it, I'll say it. I will be the coach at Alabama.
Dunaway, the U of M, the University of Montevallo, the Fighting Dunaways have all attended there.
Yeah, I've seen every T-shirt in college basketball, I think, except Montevallo. I'm looking for it. We're in the actual hotel that they always talk about at the Final Four, where the coaches are staying. Like I've seen Boeheim and Roy Williams, and I've seen Tang was walking around with his wife the other day from Kansas State. Just one coach after the other. I wish I knew all their names, but I said, oh, that's a basketball guy right there. And then a lot of coaches who are just grinding, trying to move up the ladder. If you would like to move up the ladder for your son or daughter in higher education, Montevallo is the place to go, montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu, you see the beautiful campus and all the great facilities they have there, including 23 NCAA Division II fully funded sports. Schedule an in-person tour today, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu.
But I want to go back to the discussion you guys are just having. Like, if you could just protect, like if this were a fantasy league and you could only protect 3 or 4 players. Sears,
Grant Nelson, and I think I would go Ryland Griffin.
Add one more. Give me 4. Because how quick would you get to Jaron Stevenson?
Next. That would be next.
It would be next for you after Ryland Griffin?
Yeah, and I got this
my 4.
coming up in 4 downs, but I really believe that Grant Nelson, the way he played with confidence towards the end of the year, he only shot 27% behind the arc. If you get him up to mid-30s, which I think he will be, that's an extra 2 or 3 threes a game. That'll put him at 17 or 18 points per game. I think the rebounds go up. Mark Sears is Mark Sears, and I think he'll continue to get better.
You guys didn't say, and I know we're doing this on the fly. Stevens will be in front of Reitzel for you, Dunaway? I know we're doing that on the fly, so I'm going to give you a chance to change.
Yeah,
so.
and where's Sam Walters? We didn't see enough from him, but I think Walters got a lot of upside.
they liked Walters, Dunaway. They played him a lot.
Oh, yeah. You want Reitzel, you want Sam Walters. I don't think any of those are the guys that would be, if you're having to make roster decisions, I think those are 6 guys you would definitely want back. It'll be interesting to see what Nick Pringle's future is in Tuscaloosa. If you had Nick Pringle that you had in L.A., man, you would want him on the team. I would say this. What was surprising to me was Grant Nelson, the NBA talk that happened right after this game.
Yeah.
He got national media folks hit Nate Oates with that question on the podium about Grant Nelson, how his game has elevated. And Nate says Nate actually said, I think he's played his way onto the NBA radar. And if he decides to go, we'll wish him luck and we'll congratulate him because that's the plan for all the guys we bring in here. But if he wants to come back, we'll welcome him back with open arms. That's, to LT's point, that's the level that Grant Nelson is projected out. He finally started showing what everybody thought he would be when he came from North Dakota State very late in the year. Mark Sears, I don't know, Brunson is the comparison that we started to get late here. LT, you watch a lot more NBA than I do. Where's Mark Sears on the next level? Is there a place for him?
I haven't seen him in any mocks. I really want to know how tall he is. You stood next to him. I know you're listed at 5'11 and a half. Is he legitimately taller than you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What he listed at.
And that's a problem.
He's listed at 6'1", and I tried to gauge it one time because that seemed big for me just watching him on TV. So when I was filling in for you at the Florida game, I tried to gauge it. I felt like maybe 6 foot.
Yeah, and there is something to this, like sub-6-footers in the NBA.
Not many of them.
I think there's one or two right now. I need to check that and confirm. But Jalen Brunson is a legitimate 6'2". But if you look at Mark Sears' numbers at Alabama and Brunson's en route to winning a national championship at Villanova, Sears' numbers are actually a little bit better. But Brunson has just become an incredible scorer. Will Sears play in the league? I think he's got an opportunity, but I think him and Grant Nelson would be wise to come back and continue to get better, especially Grant Nelson. I think Nelson's going to sneak in the second round, and so he'll have a contract there. But I wonder if he gets buried with bad minutes if he comes in as kind of a project. If he comes back next year, I really believe maybe he doesn't score like Connect, but he's going to have one of those massive seasons where I think he plays himself into the first round.
And if you're Mark Sears, though, that becomes the point, because he's a second-team All-American consensus, and he scored 20-plus, it seems like, in every game this year for the most part. Big streak of 20-plus games. Can his stock even go up? That's what scares me about Mark Sears, whether he's coming back or not. But we are in the NIL world. So Mark Sears will get paid to come back. Grant Nelson will get paid to come back if they choose to do that.
Yeah, somebody asked me Saturday
NBA
night what I think Sears would get coming back. I said I think he'll get around $700,000 or $800,000. I mean, to come back 1 year, play in the SEC, have no classes, to be able to walk around that campus. I mean, there are worse things you could do if you're Mark Sears.
And they're going to be good again next year.
Yeah.
It's not like you're coming back to play on a bad team. It's going to be a really good team.
With that said, I think both of those guys come back. I do.
The next row golf card. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Brent. Just real quickly,
Yeah.
go to our YouTube channel. A good conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Sears, Mark's parents, and it was fascinating getting to talk to them a little bit. I found them very cool people.
The next row golf card, your chance to play 4 area golf courses, just $99, 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated historic Woodward Golf Club, presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. It's a $247 value you get for just $99. The next round deluxe golf card, just $119. All those courses plus card. Plus a golf t-shirt, next round golf t-shirt that's exclusive, a koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. 0 restrictions, good through October 2024. They are limited, though, so get your card now, nextround.store, nextround.store. Dunaway rejoins us from Phoenix in just a little bit for 4 Downs, but Jay Bilas also in Phoenix. We'll talk college basketball, the Calipari move, what he saw with Alabama, the Final Four. That is next with Jay Bilas on the next round.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Birmingham, your back-to-back champion Birmingham Stallions return to Protective Stadium on Saturday, April 13th as they take on the Memphis Showboats. Enjoy the Fan Fest, on-field opportunities for the kids, and elite professional football. There is something for fans of all ages. Tickets start at just $22. You can buy yours today at theufl.com. With only 5 home games this season, don't miss your chance to cheer on your Birmingham Stallions. Let's pack protective, Birmingham.
We continue on the next round. Dunaway rejoins us from out in Phoenix, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. In one moment, Jay Bilas coming right up. A reminder, 2024 is the year you need to get healthy. And if you've got that nagging injury, I was watching the PGA Tour yesterday. The guy that won it, Lance, you're going to love this.
I saw him make the he barely rolled it in, but I've never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
Not that means
he's
anything.
A good young player.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good story, too.
But he's going to be playing in the Masters.
He's in the Masters, yeah, but he threw his shoulder out celebrating.
Oh, no.
I'd say had to get treatment. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics can make sure you're not in that same boat. You can make an appointment today. Make 2024 your healthy year. 512-3885. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. That's PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. I told Jay Bilas we would love to have him on to talk about Alabama in the Final Four. It's impossible, though, not to start by talking to the ESPN analyst about the Calipari move to Arkansas. First of all, welcome in, Jay. I hope you're doing well today.
Doing great. Thank you.
That was a stunning move to me, anyway. When I woke up this morning, I was in bed when it happened and saw it. What is your reaction to John Calipari, if indeed this deal does get done and he moves to Arkansas?
Well, on one level, surprising. On another, not so much when you think about the atmosphere around the Kentucky program. I mean, it's been 4 years since they've gotten out of the second round, and at Kentucky, that can cause some consternation, and the atmosphere around the program not as positive as it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I think for any coach, when there's a feeling of instability or perhaps you're not wanted, it causes you to look around a little bit. And all the great coaches get offers, and they're just not made public. And so this is an offer he just decided to take.
I would think this is going to be Calipari. I know he's 65 years old with chip on shoulder, something to prove. And you look at a Final Four at UMass, one at Memphis, multiple at Kentucky. What do you I mean, where would you put Calipari and Arkansas in the pecking order of the SEC right now?
Up near the top. I mean, wherever John goes, he's going to have talent, and that talent's going to translate to wins and competitiveness nationally. So I don't have any doubt. I mean, when he went to Memphis, Memphis wasn't even on the map at that time. It had been a very successful program decades earlier, but not when he got there, and he turned it into a Final Four contending program and went to the national championship game in 2008. And so I expect the exact same thing. And your point about being inspired or motivated this next year to do well, I believe he was going to be that way at Kentucky. But why? I think it's a pretty easy analysis. Why do that with a difficult atmosphere when you can go somewhere else and have the atmosphere completely positive while you're doing it? So it does make sense. But I mean, I think it's Not that fans would ever listen to this, but it's kind of a lesson. Like, be careful what you wish for, because Kentucky got it.
Jay Bilas is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. So obviously Nate Oates' name gets mentioned a lot. We wanted to talk to you about what you saw with Alabama in that game. I will point out, Jay, that Greg Byrne and Alabama locked Nate Oates down into a contract even before the SEC tournament that included an $18 million buyout. You know this well. There are not a lot of coaches that would restrict their movement so much as an $18 million buyout. I think it needs to be noted that, and Greg Byrne has noted this on this very show, that Nate Oates has shown a commitment to Alabama by, in his last 2 contracts, having a rather large buyout that any school would have to pay to get him away from Alabama.
Yeah, and that's business. So you agree to those buyouts, but if Kentucky wants any coach, they'll pay it. But that's separate from the fact whether a coach is happy and fulfilled at a particular spot. If you want to stay somewhere, forsaking all others, you don't even need a buyout. But that's just smart business on the part of the parties there.
Sticking with Alabama before we get to tonight's matchup, I brought this up earlier. Grant Nelson, to me, the way he played towards the end of the season with a ton of confidence, this guy maybe doesn't score at the level of Dalton Knecht, but could have maybe that kind of impact if he comes back to Tuscaloosa next year. What is your thought on Grant Nelson, the player?
Well, Grant's a terrific player, and I think as he continues to refine his perimeter shot and make threes at a higher rate because he drives it so well, and his length is underrated. He can really bother shots and block shots, and he moves his feet really well, so he can guard multiple spots. But yeah, he's a terrific player. Rebounds at a high rate. He had 15 rebounds in their last game there against UConn. He's legit. He's a terrific player. But you knew that at North Dakota State. I mean, that was one of the best gets in the portal. He's one of the prizes in the portal, and Alabama wound up getting him. And they were very fortunate to do so.
Jay, the most remarkable stat for me from the game Saturday night was that Alabama was only able to get off 23 three-point attempts, 7 below their season average, the 3rd lowest of the year. A credit to incredible UConn defense to only allow 23 attempts by Alabama. That's just amazing perimeter defense.
Yeah, and they did a really good job of running Alabama off the line and turning them into 2-point shooters. And for the first half, Mark Sears had a really good first half, but they were basically all twos. He got loose once, if I remember right, for a 3. I think he had 11 points at half. But he had to work for everything. And that's, when it's an analytically driven offense, you have to look at the analytics on defense as well. And one thing that I think people tend to forget is that there are no shutouts in basketball. You're going to give up some points. But if you're resolute in saying, all right, we're gonna make sure that the shots that they get are going to be twos, and we're going to try to make them tough twos. But that way, Alabama has to have a lot more possessions, and UConn did a pretty good job of not fouling him and put him at the line, but not giving up those open threes. I mean, the second half, Mark Sears had to take a logo 3 just to get one off. Still had 24 points, if I remember right. But I agree. I thought UConn's game plan was really good, but more importantly, they stuck to their game plan, which doesn't always happen.
I think what has Alabama fans excited, Jay, is that this team, outside of Estrada, this team all has eligibility remaining. Who knows what will happen in the portal? Nate Oates is recruited well. I know Alabama's only been to one Final Four, but there's really no reason right now to think that this team couldn't compete for a Final Four again next year.
Of course. I mean, I'm not sure how many people, after what they lost from the year before, losing 2 lottery picks, how many people were predicting the Final Four for Alabama before the season. But I think the theme is who wouldn't want to play there? Play that style where Nate Oates really only gets upset with a player when you pass up an open 3. Because you pass up an open 3, then you got to go try to find another one. It's an opportunity to turn the ball over. But he really only gets exercised over passing up open threes and then maybe a lack of effort defensively or concentration, things like that. But it's a fabulous style to play in, and it's proven that's the way basketball is played on the highest level. So whether it's playing international professional basketball or in the NBA, that it's great preparation for that. And it's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch. I don't know any fans that are looking to give their tickets back watching a team that scores 90 points a game and, routinely goes over 100 versus some of these teams that grind it out and score in the 50s. So they're to me, it's sustainable. And Nate's a great coach and a great guy. And I have to think he'd be fantastic to play for.
The spotlight's going to be on the Bigs tonight. And we might never have a national championship matchup with two massive 7-footers again. I said it earlier. People think I'm insane, but I think Klingon is a better overall player than Zach Edey. I know Zach Edey's been Zach Edey, but from what we saw, Klingon as kind of a support guy off the bench last year to where he is right now and continues to get better and better. Who's got the advantage in the big matchup?
Zach Edey does. He's the better player. You don't do what he's doing and not be the better player. I mean, he's averaging on the season. He led the nation in scoring. He scored 25 points a game. And up until now in the NCAA tournament, he's put up numbers that are matched only by guys like Elvin Hayes and Jerry West. So he's the better player. Both of them are going to be impactful, but Edey is more likely to score 30 in this game than Klingon is. Now, they'll probably wind up covering each other for portions of the game, if not all of it. I mean, Klingon's going to come out perhaps a little bit more and maybe not play quite as many minutes for UConn as Edey plays for Purdue. But how they decide to play him, like with Zach Edey, the most important thing is where he catches it. If he catches the ball right around the restricted arc, he's going to score. And you have to just try to make it difficult and not foul him because he shoots 11 free throws a game and has shot more free throws by over 100 than any other player in the country this last year. But you also have to decide when and if you're going to double. Because you put two on the ball and Zach Edey's able to pass out of it, Purdue's the best three-point shooting team in the country. I mean, they have like 7 guys that shoot over 37% from three. That's remarkable. So they can get step-in threes if you don't double at the right time and the right way. The way I would do it is I would send the double on his second dribble. If it's on his first, he can just pick it up and pass it out. On the second dribble, he's more committed, and I think you can get in there and knock it away. And I think turnovers are going to be the issue. If Purdue turns it over 13, 14 times, UConn wins. If it's in the 8 range, then I think Purdue's going to have a shot to win.
He is Jay Bilas. You are always kind with your time with us, Jay, and we greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jay, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Quickly answered.
By the way,
he's got the advantage.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be in the minority on that.
You've owned it, though.
And again, I like Purdue in this game tonight, so it's kind of weird that I say that, but I just think Klingon's playing at a different level right now. That's a big get. I mean, I wonder how many requests Bilas has had for today.
A lot. I think Jay. First of all, he's always said yes to us. I don't abuse it, but Jay, I don't think has ever told us no if he can make it work in his schedule. Like there are times where, hey, I'm in the air, I just cannot do it, and that's fine.
What people don't realize is those hits are a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I mean, we just took 10 minutes out of a busy day for him, but he was kind enough to do it. But I think one reason Jay does it, I think he very much likes Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl, and Jay's a big basketball guy, and I think he knows the challenge they have of selling basketball in a football state. And I genuinely think he feels like that he wants to try to help them do that. And that's one reason he comes on this show.
Yeah, look, one of the most respected basketball minds out there. And you heard him when, we asked about the impact now of John Calipari in Fayetteville. And he said, I think they're going to be right there at the top of the SEC.
Yeah, as he said, John's going to get players everywhere he goes.
Yep.
He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you part of the show.
Yeah, it seems like everything is going up in price, but not for LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision. Dr. Jennifer and Mark Michelson have held the cost of LASIK steady at the pre-inflation pricing from 2 years ago. Really simple. Call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She will schedule you a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Do us a favor, though. Tell them the next round sent you. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing. She's going to hook you up. I'm speaking from experience. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call today. 205-969-8100 or online, michelsonlaservision.com.
Andy Staples of On3 has come on the show many, many times, says this. And he's not the first person I've seen say this. John Calipari to Arkansas feels like Jimbo Fisher to Texas A&M for him.
Does not feel like that.
And I knew you were going to say that.
Because I never, like Calipari, say what you want. Jimbo Fisher, and I don't know how many times, got to say this, he had one special year with a generational, one of the best single seasons we've ever seen for a quarterback in college football with Jameis Winston. And outside of that, what else can you say? You can go through Calipari. When you get UMass to a Final Four, and I don't care how he did it, and when you...
the NCAA cared.
They did. You have Memphis. If Derrick Rose hits free throws, he wins a national championship there, and he wins a national championship at Kentucky. To me, he is a night and day coach from Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. He's had a better track record in basketball than Fisher had in football. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, I don't want to say that Jimbo Fisher didn't want to win championships.
No.
But, Fisher seemed like with that contract, it was, boy, I am taken care of for the rest of my life. Calipari's been taken care of. The guy's got more money than he could ever spend, and I really think it's going to be a major chip on his shoulder for the next couple of years to prove that he is still one of the best coaches in college basketball.
Hey, a reminder is storms come through the area in the spring. It's just a fact of life in the Deep South. You're going to get that. When you get roof damage, you need to contact our guy, Greg from Pell City. But even if you don't have roof damage, if you just need a new roof, the name is Storm Restoration Roofing, but he's going to take care of any roof. You make sure Greg will get on the roof. He'll give you a risk-free inspection there. It's a free inspection, and he'll be honest with you. We've had members of the audience reach out that say, look, I thought I needed a new roof. He told me I had 4 or 5 years left. They're going to use him in those 4 or 5 years because they trust him. You can as well. 205-542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. That's his cell number, 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City Storm Restoration Roofing. We go back out to Phoenix with Dunaway. 4 downs next, and we'll talk some more basketball. And in the next hour, Auburn spring game, Auburn football. We got a lot to get to on the next round.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
As Pritch Law says in the chat, it's speed reading in the chat today. It is going by fast, trying to get as many of you as we can. But while you're there, please give us a thumbs up. If you are watching us on YouTube, share us on Facebook or on the X. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel or any of our social media, we appreciate that. If you'll do it, Next Round Live everywhere. Subscribe, set your alerts on YouTube so you know when we're live. And follow us on all social media at Next Round Live. It's where you can get a lot of the post game from Jim and Little T. Their coverage out there in Phoenix, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to mybookie.ag. UConn, last check, Lance, a 7-point favorite. I think we've established how you feel about this game. But UConn a 7-point favorite with a total of 145.5 currently at mybookie.ag.
You kind of have to, people are going to say, well, man, they're a 7-point favorite. Well, I don't know where you put the UConn numbers now because, again, they've won 13 or 11 straight NCAA tournament games by 13-plus points. I mean, I thought this number would come out about where it is right now, but it's hard for people to say, give me Purdue plus 7 points.
Yeah, 7 points. UConn is favored. MyBookie.ag, code next round when you sign on. At MyBookie.ag, code next round gets you that sign-on bonus. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. As Dunaway rejoins us from out in Phoenix, courtesy of MyBookie. I have seen the sporting news, Dunaway. We just talked with Jay Bilas about the prospect for Alabama's future. He's very high on Alabama next year, thinks they can challenge for the Final Four again. I think the sporting news already has out their preseason top 25. Not sure why you do it before transfer portal stuff, but I guess you gotta do it at some point. And they had Alabama preseason number 1. I think Alabama will be a consensus top 10 team to start the year. Do you think I'm wrong on that?
Wow, preseason number 1?
Yeah, I need to confirm that, but I think Sporting News had Alabama preseason number 1, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, they do have that recruiting class coming in and a lot of guys eligible to come back, but until you know who's on that roster, but you can't be the way too early preseason top 25 unless you're first, right?
Yeah.
So you have to get them out there. But I have not seen that. That is that would be crazy to me to start off preseason number 1. But you're a Final Four team, and I had to step away, change locations because they started blaring the music here at FanFest here in the Phoenix. So I missed exactly what Jay said. What did he say about Nate Oates and Kentucky in that opening?
He said if they want him, they'll come get him. $18 million will not be a roadblock again. That is going to be, I think, the highest buyout ever paid by a school, but I guess if Kentucky wants to be dominant in basketball, they'll pay whatever. I would point this out, though, guys. Don't you both feel like that John Calipari, up until last night, was still the coach of Kentucky because Mitch Barnhart couldn't scare up $33 million?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So if you couldn't scare up $33 million to fire Cal, and by the way, you guys know how much Arkansas is giving Kentucky for John Calipari?
How much? Zero.
So you didn't get any money there, and you couldn't scare up $33 million to get rid of him. I guess you can scare up $18 million if you want to go hire Nate Oates.
Yeah, I don't think the money should be a factor, but it will be a factor. But there are guys out there that you just don't have to really pay for. You mentioned Scott Drew. I don't know what that buyout would be. It wouldn't even be close. Mark Few.
I think it's 6. I think I saw 4.5. I'll double check that, Lance. But I think it's 4.5.
There's other really proven coaches as well as Nate that you could go out and get, and I think Kentucky fans would be happy with. I think Kentucky fans really like the fact that Oates is under 50. He seems like the hot new thing, just getting to his first Final Four, and they love the style of basketball. I mean, that style of basketball. And Bilas was talking about that. I mean, it's worth the price of admission. Even in a loss, you're getting entertained.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll circle back to another young coach who has proven he can go to the Final Four with a little baggage, but not as much baggage as some coaches have had in the past. What about Chris Beard? He wouldn't leave for Arkansas, the Ole Miss job. Would he leave for Kentucky if Kentucky came calling?
I think it'd be hard for him not to leave. I thought it would be hard for him to not leave Ole Miss to go to Arkansas. I do think there's some loyalty there, but if he's offered what is viewed as the best job in basketball, and again, I think he's the second best active coach right now. And I know this is all subjective and it goes around because what did Chris Beard really do at Ole Miss in year one? And you look at what Nate Oates did, but I think Chris Beard, obviously getting Texas Tech to a Final Four, playing for a national championship, if he had those resources, it would be next level. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if I can get Chris Beard, I'm getting Chris Beard. But would Chris Beard take it? I think he would,
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important today, guys. If Nate wants to stay, and I know he's done it with the contract and everything, but this job, as long as it's open, is going to at least pause Alabama's progression for next year and growing the program and the donations and everything. And I know you can always say, well, he's already done it, Jimmy. Data commitment with a new contract and everything. What more can he do? Well, how hard is it to call up Aaron Jordan or Steven Gonzalez in the Sports Information and say, guys, just a simple sentence. I am the coach at Alabama. No matter what job comes open this year, I am the coach at Alabama. And in sentence, boom. That's it, guys. Enjoy time at the lake.
I mean, it would be a popular move for his fan base. I think his fan base, Nate Oates has, I would have to imagine, 100% approval rating right now. So you can't get any higher than 100.
That's why I think he's going to do this, too. I think he recognizes that. He recognizes Greg Byrne, the commitment that Alabama gave him. So I think sooner than later you will see something come out of comment from Nate Oates. I would be really, really surprised if he takes this job.
Yeah, I would go really quickly. I've heard what everyone is saying in Phoenix on television. I've heard back channels that Kentucky is reaching out. I'd make it sound like they're interested, man. And then I would say, not going. I'm staying here at Alabama. That would be a very popular play today.
How many people have turned Kentucky down? Because, we just heard that you've had two people overnight before Calipari took the Arkansas job in Chris Beard and Jerome Tang. Both of those guys turned down Arkansas, but I can't recall somebody turning down Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me, the Kansas State coach
Jerome Tang
turned down Arkansas.
That's baffling to me that Jerome Tang turned down Arkansas. Yeah. I mean, that is, I don't know what K-State's going to pay him, Dunaway, but.
But, it's probably not for everybody. Maybe Tang is one of these guys that just really loves basketball. Had a really good year last year, kind of underachieved this year, but maybe he just doesn't want to be in the deep end of the pool in Kentucky and what that brings. It's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Ole Miss's coach turned down Arkansas.
Oof, he says. Let's do 4 Downs, presented every single day by Slice. 4 great locations, soon to be 5.
Oh, well, now it is 5 locations. That newest in Edgewood. Make sure you stop in, see the Bajaya Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. 5 great locations, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, and now Edgewood, right there on the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Get in, see the Bajaya Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you.
First down.
Back in Final Four first, Kentucky or Arkansas?
Bilas was higher. Bill, I'll tell you this, Dunaway. You were on the move. Bilas was higher on Cal at Arkansas than you are. This is a tough one for me. I really would like to see who Kentucky hires. Like if Kentucky hired Dan Hurley or Nate Oates or Scott Drew, I'd say Kentucky in a heartbeat. I really would.
Yeah. If those are my 2 choices, I'm choosing Kentucky. And listen, Jay has to be higher on Calipari than Arkansas because he'll probably be there for a game day at some point. I'd never have to see John Calipari. So I can say all the bad things I want about John Calipari because I may bump into him accidentally in the men's room at SEC basketball media days down at the Grand Bohemian. That's going to be the closest I get to it.
I am going to say Kentucky. I'm going to bet Brand here and go Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm going to go Arkansas because sight unseen at who this Kentucky coach is going to be. And I can see this thing getting messy, like multiple people turn this thing down. But we'll see. I'll go Arkansas.
Second down.
So wait, multiple people are going to turn down Kentucky?
I can see it.
Well, you're going to get to, if Nate Oates does what you want him to do and releases a statement, there's always going to be the debate, was he even offered the job? So is that a turn down or is that Nate Oates playing a PR game, right? So, I don't know that we would ever know that because most people say, oh, look, Nate Oates turned the job down. Well, it may never be offered.
Yeah, but I think at least they're going to gauge his interest. And if you aren't interested at all, to me, that's turning down the job. Let me ask you guys this, reframe it. If Nate Oates had his representatives reach out to Mitch Barnhart and say, I want to be the next Kentucky coach, I think it probably gets done.
Well, I mean, Mitch has to go hit some of the big bourbon guys and say, all right, y'all wouldn't give me $33 million to fire Cal. We got zero out of that. I need the money. And if you can go get the money, yeah, you could get it. If Natos really wants it, I think you get that done quick.
Okay, more important returning player next year, Grant Nelson or Mark Sears?
I would go Sears, Dunaway. Sears has been good for 20 points a game every game, runs the offense, unselfish player. I would go Mark Sears.
I don't want to have to choose, LT, but if I had to choose, I'd go Mark Sears as well. Because he makes, like North Carolina, for instance, they designed the defense to take Mark Sears out of the game as much as they could for big chunks of that game, and it opened up the rest of the floor for everyone else. Anytime Mark Sears is on the floor, I think you have to account for him and design a defense against them, and that opens up so many things. I would go Mark Sears over Grant Nelson.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it is Sears, but we've kind of gotten numb to Sears doing Sears things. I think the more standout kind of wow player will be Grant Nelson next year, but I think Sears is the more important piece.
Third down.
By the way, that dunk.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Was that not a moment? Was that not a moment?
Yeah, because Klingon had basically had his way the whole game until Grant Nelson posterized him, and that was pretty remarkable.
Okay, more total points, rebounds, and blocks tonight. Edey or Klingon?
Also, you missed in Jay Bilas completely dismissing Lance's thoughts.
I knew he would.
Klingon is better than Edey. More grand salami points, basically.
Yep.
I will take. I'll go underdog and take Klingon in this one.
I think I would take Edey, although I think Klingon's a better player. I just think if Edey doesn't get his, they have no shot at UConn tonight. And, Klingon could go out and have an 8-12 kind of night, and they could still win this game by double digits.
By the way, I don't know if you can hear the Mission bells in the background here. Oh, you can't, really?
No.
There's a Mission across the street, and the bells are ringing. Very western desert Arizona.
Is that where you're going? Is that where you're going for a free lunch? You get a free cup of soup.
I'm going to go Edey. They run the offense through him. I watched that first game the other night, and compared to what we're now used to with Nate and Bruce Pearl and Andy and Buckyball, I said watch them run that offense, LT, in that first game the other night, and it was into Edey, and then Edey would look around, he'd kick it out to somebody else, not move, whether he's in the lane or not, and then get the ball back. It was just slow and methodical. That's why it's only a 7-point spread tonight, because there won't be as many points scored in this game as scored in the Alabama-UConn game. I think the 7-point spread tonight is the equivalent of what it was in the Alabama game, 10.5, where Alabama as the underdog. I think, you do the metric transfer there of the time spent holding the basketball. I don't like the way Purdue plays, but I think Edey gets his point because he touches it every time down the floor.
Yeah, and I think he's just massive. I don't think he's going to be any good at the next level. I think Klingon's got more opportunity because of the athleticism. I compare Edey to what you get with Cardozo, who ended up being your most valuable player for South Carolina. I'll stick with this. Outside of her being, if she was 6'1", she wouldn't be on the floor. But her being 6'7", that's why she's so dominant. And Edey is just that big.
Hey, what would be your perfect height, by the way? Because I watched it, and Little T and I saw this in person. Every time he walked through a doorway, he has to duck. He has to duck, like into the locker room.
You mean my perfect height to live? Like, if I could be any height? My height right now. Like, I like 6'2.5".
I'm happy where I am. I'm at 6'1".
I don't want to be that tall.
Yeah, I don't want to duck going through doorways.
Yeah, I told Little T, 6'2", 6'3" for me. I mean, just think, he can't drive a certain car. He has to sleep in special beds. He has to duck in almost every normal doorway that he walks in his whole life at 7'4".
And he
I
really
just don't want to live like that.
He really has to find a taller woman, too.
Yeah.
Because, you can't imagine a guy with like a 5'2" chick.
Did you see Tracy Wolfson interviewing him?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Dunaway, she came up to his elbow. No joke. She came up to his elbow when she was interviewing him.
Yeah, she's got a step ladder now.
Yeah.
Brought to you by that step ladder company. That ladder company gives you the net cutting.
Yeah,
they rolled it out there for her.
I know they said he played hockey and tennis and he's a Canadian. I'm pretty convinced he was made in a lab.
Fourth down.
CeeDee Lamb, 25 years old today. If I asked you ultimately better career, Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb? Can't believe I would have ever asked this, but watching CeeDee Lamb last year, I thought he was that good. I mean, I think Jamar Chase is better, but can Burrow stay healthy?
That's true. That is a factor there. And
of course, CD plays for the Cowboys, so that hurts him.
Better career, Dunaway. I think I am going to go CD Lamb here.
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Jamar Chase because I think he will eventually leave Cincinnati and a good quarterback in Joe Burrow. And I think he'll pick and choose his next place to go, whatever the hot quarterback is at the time. Probably a Ram or something.
That would make sense.
So I'm going to go Jamar Chase on this one. I think Jamar is a bigger specimen, a better receiver than Lamb is.
All right, that is 4 Downs, presented by Slice.
Local pizza, local ingredients. Stop in, try out the soul pie, the Bajaya special. Wing and a Prayer, you're going to absolutely love it. Created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His legacy is celebrated by his brothers Jason and Chris. Get into one of those 5 locations of Slice Pizza and Brew.
We're out there Thursday with NASCAR.
We will be at the Vestavia location.
The Vestavia location. They're just off 280 in the Colonnade area with our friends at NASCAR and the Talladega Super Speedway. We'll be doing our show from there Thursday. So come by, have a slice, and enjoy some time with us. NASCAR is coming back to Talladega April 19th through 21st. It is the Geico 500 weekend. You can get on board by calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. That is 877-GO-TO-DEGA or TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Enhance your race experience with the Garage Experience presented by Cool Ray. Reserve a camping spot. Get great tickets right there and all the information at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. The Geico 500 weekend on the way. We celebrate with Talladega on Thursday. We can't wait. More of the next round. We'll talk Auburn 8A and some more basketball when we return.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by Amherst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Jim Dunaway. Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
It is the lunch hour of the next round. Sterling and the gang there, champions, they have swung that door wide open in Alabaster on Highway 119. They're serving up those great chicken fingers, the po' boys, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, great sides. Great place to go. Champy's world famous fried chicken, champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com. They bring you this hour of the next round. I would suggest watching the national championship game there, but they'll be stacking chairs and closing down by the time.
Well, there is actually an event before the national championship game because EG was just asking me in the studio or in the lobby, are you going to watch the eclipse?
What time is that?
It's going to be prime time through Central Time Zone, or at least where we are here in Birmingham. I think around 2 o'clock. Am I right on that, Rocky?
Yeah, I think we have like a 75% view of it or something like that. It's going down from, I think, people in like Mississippi and Louisiana have a better.
Do you guys have any desire to watch this?
Not particularly, no, but my youngest was interested in it. Dunaway is he's out in Phoenix with our friends at mybookie.ag, code next round at mybookie.ag. Are you guys do you know anything about the eclipse for you, Dunaway? Is it like 70% coverage? Do you have any idea? Nothing? You don't even know what your flight time is. Why would I ask you this?
Yeah, I know. I'm now concerned about that because you said it's like after the game.
Oh, it will be after the game.
Am I supposed to check out like my hotel today and be packed up and load up on the bus?
I don't
know. I've got so many questions I've got to answer as soon as I'm done here. Little T is back at the beautiful downtown Sheraton a few blocks away. If she is still watching, Little T, check out our flight time. And are we supposed to be checked out of the rooms today? I knew we were here for the game. I knew we were here. I thought until Tuesday. I thought our flight was tomorrow.
Well, I could be completely wrong. The only time I've done it, right after Clemson, Alabama, they flew back.
I just thought I remember thinking in the event Alabama makes it to the championship game, it's going to be really tight for you guys to turn around the post-game content. Now, I could have just been making that up, but I remember thinking that. So you do need to check.
Well, I mean, the buses the charter bus we took down there to the game left 45 minutes after the game. The last one did. So we knew we could not be part of the charter bus back. You know, we're in Phoenix. That's Glendale, about 18 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic, 45 minutes traffic on game day. So we knew we couldn't ride the charter back. We had to take the nice $100 Uber back. 18 miles, $100. Great business plan.
Hey, if you could have, though, would you have – because, I talked to our buddy Jimmy, and I forgot. I assumed everybody had this 4-day minimum out there, but he was already back in Birmingham yesterday. Would you have come back if you could have gotten back yesterday?
Yes, 100%. Little T and I both would have. But, that's not the card we played, and you had to plan for the best case scenario for Alabama, and it didn't work out that way. So, we got a little team leaving yesterday, and then we did a show last night. Not a ton of content yesterday, but we'll do more today and be back either early in the morning or tomorrow afternoon.
I did not like.
He's finding out right now.
I did not like that venue for a football championship game. What is it like for basketball? I mean, the stadium venues are awful for basketball.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up, Brownie. It is my and I've seen Alabama and Auburn both win national championships there, but it's my least favorite football venue.
I agree.
But I've been now to 2 Final Fours, and I enjoyed this basketball venue set up better than I did the one in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to put up the blackout screens to cover the glass opening in Minneapolis, and it just made it a dark looking top part, almost like we were mourning the Final Four because all the glass was covered and it was just black drapes up there to block the sunlight for the early games up in Minneapolis. And I gave up my courtside seat to Landrum because he was an Auburn guy in Minneapolis. So I went up to the football press box, and in this situation, I sat, in the seats you saw me on TV, and even the overflow media was on the end zone. So they gave the extra media even better seats than they did in Minneapolis. So just being down in the court, it was a better experience for me. But I thought it was a better. I know this. It was a better basketball setup than it is a football venue because only one moment in the game was anybody slipping and sliding, and that was a couple Alabama players where they did a poor job of wiping the floor.
Alabama actually drew a foul that way. Rylan Griffin slipped, and they called a foul on Klingon on the I think it was Klingon. It was whoever the trailing defender was.
Well,
there was no contact.
The overhead end zone shot shows you how bad those venues are for basketball.
Yeah, it's just the seats are so, there's no steep incline or whatever, and Lance is right. And when they show that end zone seat and you see those floor seats, how far from the court you are and all the heads you've got to see over, it's just...
Yeah, it reinforced why I wouldn't have wanted to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I watched some of the women's. I did not watch the championship yesterday, but some of the women's tournament, far better atmosphere on TV, far better atmosphere than what you got out of the men's Final Four.
Yeah, but I would tell you in person, when there's a big play happening, it's a football sound. When you got 76,000 fans, it was a big football sound on a big three or something. So it is unlike anything you experience in basketball in an arena. Because it is a loud, booming sound, especially when Purdue would hit a big shot in their game with all their fans. And the raised court, from my seat, I was looking up at the action.
Wow. Okay.
So
it's raised that much.
It was a stage. So I'm third row media, and I'm still looking up. I would say, I don't know how tall that floor is, but sitting down as a 5'11 and a half guy, probably closer to 5'10 now, I was looking up at the action.
So what do you think the numbers are going to be? Because, the women's actually caught a perfect storm with an undefeated South Carolina, Caitlin Clark, Sunday afternoon. I was at a local brewery. There were a lot of people there just watching that game. But you got, a pretty big matchup tonight. So, I mean, how will the numbers compare?
I don't know. I mean, I think an afternoon Sunday will give them a big number in their championship game done away. That seemed like I thought the game was last night. Somebody asked me at church, "You're going to watch the women's game?" I'm like, well, I might catch the end of it, but I've got 33:40. I got to do the zone, and we tape at 7:15. And then the game was yesterday afternoon. I was like, I thought you would have played that in prime time.
Still, they get probably $13 million.
Yeah,
is that fair?
The semifinal with Caitlin Clark got a massive TV number.
Yeah, but that was in prime time. This is a Sunday afternoon in the spring and summer. I think it'll be close to the LSU number, right around that. I'm going to say the championship game slightly lower than the LSU Iowa game. I haven't seen the numbers yet. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then I think the men's game is going to be the exact same number. I think you throw a blanket over both of them. I think they'll be very close. It helped out, though, that the Iowa-South Carolina game had the Birmingham Stallions lead in. I thought that worked out really well on one of the into the Sue and Taurasi, the Bird and Taurasi Manning cast-like thing they did. It was the Stallions leading into that. That's the one I watched.
Yeah, UFL 2 weeks in, it reminds me of the football we watched during COVID.
Yeah.
Because there is nobody there.
Yeah. I've yet to watch a UFL game. I guess I'll start now.
Good crowd at DC United yesterday.
Okay.
I think that was the late afternoon game on Fox, and they're playing in the soccer stadium, and it probably had 15,000, but being in the soccer stadium, it was a smaller stadium, so it was a good atmosphere. And I expect the Stallions to have a really good crowd at Protective coming up Saturday night.
That'll be the first
for
one
their
I'll watch.
opener.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some Auburn A-Day. First, I want to tell everyone, UCA, Urology Centers of Alabama, 35 urologists on hand with 16 locations across Alabama. They are treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones. They will take care of you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule an appointment. Urology Centers of Alabama. It's something you got to take very, very seriously, obviously. All right, here is Hugh Freeze after Auburn's A-Day, which you would call, Lance, the Cam Coleman show. That's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
So, of course, the Auburn coach is going to be asked immediately about Cam Coleman and his thoughts on him. Him with 4 catches, 90-plus yards, and a touchdown. Here's what the Auburn coach saw in Cam Coleman.
Coach, we all know how talented Cam Coleman is, but to get to see him out there in game action, makes a couple plays, the diving catch early on and catches a touchdown. For fans that have been longing for a playmaker at that position, how excited are you to kind of unleash him come the fall?
Well, I think he changes us. We need more. Can't just, anxious to get the other signees here like Perry and Malcolm to join with that group. But I am glad our fans got to see that. He just tracks the ball really naturally, and he's so teachable, coachable, and he made a couple of MAs in the tight red zone today on balls that we were hoping to throw him down there, and kind of got us in trouble and had to make us kick some field goals. So that's on us. We've got to clean it up and make sure he knows the whole system and what he can do. But when he knows what to do, he's really, really talented.
Look, I mean, the thing they were missing was playmakers. And Cam Coleman is a guy that is going to be an immediate impact guy. You bring in Robert Lewis. That's another guy that made heads turn, the former Georgia State product. Rivaldo Fairweather, what I saw from him last year, I think he will continue to get better and better. So they've got playmakers, and you start to look at the quarterbacks, and I know not a lot of people are high on Peyton Thorne, but 4 quarterbacks played and 0 turnovers. So if they play clean football and you've got playmakers, defense is going to be better than advertised. Really, this has got the ingredients of a team that can win 9 or 10 games and make a run at the college football playoff.
Speaking of those quarterbacks, Lance, bridging perfectly into what Hugh Freeze talked about next is that Auburn quarterback room coming out of spring.
Coach, you are said to be one of the best teachers of quarterbacks. Now that you've been here a season, how do you think they're starting to receive some of your game plan and really buy in?
Well, I think we got better this spring of understanding kind of what the expectations are from that position in running our offense. And I honestly felt like standing back there today that most of the decisions were correct. I didn't always like some of the throws that were made, but I did think in the run RPO game that most of the decisions were correct. I'll have to watch the film and see, but I know that we improved our knowledge of us being on the same page of what our expectations are in this offense for our quarterbacks.
So Cam Coleman and quarterbacks, the talk coming out of spring, and
a new kicker.
Well, they've got McPherson already. I guess they've just got kicker depth, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, this Town Magoo, I guess
Towns
is his name.
Magoo. He's from Auburn. He made a 58-yarder. There was no rush, but still he's got leg.
Yeah,
obviously.
he's still 6 of 6. And, and Freeze said after the game it would have been good from 65. But, I mean, that's the one thing they're always airtight on is kickers.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn has not had a bad kicking situation in quite a while. So, Dunaway, coming out of the Auburn spring game, I know you were out there working. You probably didn't get a chance to watch play for play. I'm sure you saw the catch that Coach Freeze is talking about, the kind of the over-the-shoulder diving catch by Cam Coleman. He's showing athletic ability at receiver that Auburn hasn't had a ton of.
Yeah, absolutely. And, back to our visit down there on Tuesday, I think what LT was hinting at the possibility of a 9-win, 10-win season and being in the conversation in November, possibly for a college football playoff. A lot of that comes off just year 2 of having everything established and sort of changing your coaching staff to get people you're more comfortable with. Sometimes you're so rushed to get that first coaching staff together that maybe you don't get the right coordinator. I remember, the young guy whose name's Major Applewhite that Nick Saban went with the first year. Obviously, that did not fit in Tuscaloosa. And Monty wasn't a good fit last year for Hugh down at Auburn. And you make that adjustment to year 2 and you get a lot more comfortable with your coaching staff. The players are a lot more comfortable with you. And I think that allows the ability for you to rise up and maybe have a better season. And then you got an influx of talent at a position group you needed at wide receiver, where this was one of the best receiving classes in the country. I agree with LT. I think, and we said this back on Tuesday, I think they can scare a college football playoff run this year if everything falls right.
Cam Coleman, Auburn's first 1,000-yard receiver this year since Ronnie Daniels in '99, yes or no?
Oh, I think he will give it a run, but I think this Robert Lewis kid, a guy that's got experience at this level, could be right there. I mean, he'll probably take some touches, some grabs away from him. I think either one of those guys could be that guy.
Yeah, I'll say no. I think they have 2 900-yard receivers.
Done away with the end around there. No to the 1,000-yard, but 2 900-yard. Gosh, that's Peyton Thorne's had a year, man, if he's got 2 900-yard receivers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he has had a year. Love the Blue says, I thought Thorne looked competent, not great. That's the way he described Thorne. Competent, not great.
Well, I don't think you're going to get great Peyton Thorne. We've never seen great Peyton Thorne.
Competent has been the best he's been.
I think if you're competent, not turning the football over, I think Peyton can be a solid quarterback. Again, I think I'm in the majority. I'm not with Hugh Freeze on this. I think they probably could have gotten a better quarterback out of the portal, but this is kind of the guy you've ridden with, and I think he's good enough if you've got playmakers around him that Auburn can win a lot of games.
Yeah, I think you want a guy to what you guys started off with, that you had 4 quarterbacks play and you had nobody hurt the team. And I'm not going to use the game manager, but you want a guy that's not going to hurt the team. And you just go back to last year with not a great roster. You had a chance against Bama. You had a chance against Georgia, which would have changed the trajectory of that very first year. Just be a very consistent, poised Peyton Thorne, and I think you get what you need from the quarterback position that way.
Speaking of transfer portal, Dunaway, do you remember offhand the date it opens? You gave it the other day. It's pretty soon, right?
The 16th, if my memory serves correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Running back Dallin Hayden of Ohio State, Dallin Hayden of Ohio State on 3 Sports reporting plans to enter the transfer portal. So get ready for those stories. You're going to get a lot of plans to enter the transfer portal once spring practices wrap up, like Auburn's wrapped up over the weekend. Not saying any Auburn player is going to do it. I'm just making the point. Once spring practices and 8A games and spring games are played, you'll get a lot of plans to enter the transfer portal before it even opens. So it's already starting with an Ohio State running back, Dallin Hayden.
The headline would be, Hayden to see you go, but it was Judkins in the cards because Quinshon's there now. How about that?
I got it. I got the joke. Yes. You know where you learn that type of prose is the University of Montevallo. All right, give it to me.
I was on the fly.
Okay.
Right
all right. Montevallo trained on the fly.
Yeah, great broadcasting school there. The great Chris Stewart, who was featured this offseason, is a Montevallo grad. I happen to also be a Montevallo grad. You too could be a Montevallo grad. Find out why you belong at Montevallo. Great place for your son or daughter. Wonderful broadcasting school, business school, soon to be a nursing school as well, and so much more. Check it out. 23 NCAA Division II, fully funded scholarship sports, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu.
All right, Dunaway out there in Phoenix for the championship game tonight. Coverage there presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. We do trash when we return on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. It's that time of year. Hoops, hops, and wings with our friends at Walk-Ons. We're talking about the unbelievable madness of the best viewing and the best food in town.
This tournament season, try any of the 3 local walk-ons in Trussville, Stadium Trace in Hoover, and also the Greystone location. A wonderful menu with original food, great drinks, but most importantly in tournament season, TVs everywhere, so you can keep up with how your bracket's burning.
Your home for all the tournament action is Walk-On Sports Bistro.
Lance 13-7 over his last 20 at Lance's Lock. The Lock Every Day presented by Hemp Hill Services. You'll have a lock, I assume, on tonight's game. I think we can tell where you're
leaning.
I
got side and total.
So okay, there you go.
It is up right now at Lance's Lock.
Yeah, presented by Hemp Hill Mortgage. They bring you the lock every single day.
Trusted name Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience any of those issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Contact them now, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Are you, will you do some Masters there? You don't do a ton of golf, but you will do some Masters?
We'll do some match play, which I think is so much fun. You get up on a Friday or Saturday morning and you've got head-to-head matchups. And we've actually had a lot of success over the last few years doing those.
You got a lean on the Masters yet?
I do not. I am in that Calcutta that you've been in before, and I am in next to last place.
So you got to hit a home run here.
Yeah, so the dude that's winning's got like $8.5 million already.
Wow.
So I need to have some kind of crazy Masters.
I think I like Hideki Matsuyama to win it.
Okay. Scheffler's going to play well, though, right?
Scheffler is going to play well. He plays well every week.
Yeah, I got to pick the right. So I've got 4 more opportunities in all 4 majors to play Scheffler. I've got to figure out when I want to play him. About half the field played him in the TPC.
Oh, did they? In the Players? Yeah. This is probably going to be your best chance to play him. This is the course he's always going to be good on, but he's good everywhere.
I would be shocked if, for whatever reason, he doesn't make the cut. You?
Oh, yeah. Just making the cut's pretty low bar for Scheffler. Yeah, I'd be stunned at that. I think he'll contend, but I like Matsuyama to win it.
Okay.
That's my play right now. Not my official stamp, Rockstar. You going to VJ Singh like always?
I don't know. Ernie Els is kind of my guy right now.
The Big Easy. Yeah. All right. Rockstar, if you do not mind, would you please hit that big button so we can do us a little trash?
I have you on camera, and I have you. I'm not threatening you. I'm gonna go over and cut that. Is this your plant? I have no incentive to give you any positive politeness at all, do I? You were nothing but rude and belligerent. Have a good day, ma'am.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yes, you too. Thank you.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. We start first. We were talking about the solar eclipse that is about to roll through our country here in the next couple of hours. The Allentown School District will dismiss students early today due to safety concerns about the solar eclipse.
So my little one, now a 4th grader, was upset that they have been told they're not going to be able to go out and view the solar eclipse. So she was wanting to be checked out.
So let me ask you if
you'd be disappointed.
No, that's what I said. I said I would check out. Yeah.
Why would you not let them if you've got the right protective gear here?
I think we live in a world now where even with the right protective gear, there's liability.
Going to be the one kid that does it.
That's right.
Takes it off because I'm funny. I'm the funny
and his
kid.
eyes melt, and then the school district
That's right.
owes him a couple of $1 million.
Yep.
That kid on the far right looks like the kid in Goonies.
Junk?
Yeah.
Junk.
He really does.
So yeah, she was very disappointed. Now I'm with Rockstar. I think she thinks it's going to be something it's not. Like I think if she does get out, if my wife checks her out and she gets to see it, I think it's going to be a bit underwhelming. Now my brother took his family the last time when you had the full 100%. What do they call it, Rockstar? The 100%
blockage coverage.
Whatever coverage. My brother, it was not far from him, so he drove up, I think, into Tennessee with his family that day, and he said it was super eerie when it was like in the middle of the day and it got 100% dark.
Yeah, I mean, that is weird. Now, officials posted on the district's Facebook page Thursday, the decision was made, quote, out of an abundance of caution. Now, school district leaders said they're worried about students who will look at the sun without protective glasses or devices and seriously damage their eyes. Now, NASA has warned the public not to look at the eclipse without special safety glasses to avoid the eye damage. The agency also warned looking at a sun through a, quote, camera lens, binoculars, or telescope without a special purpose solar filter secured over the front of the optics will instantly cause severe eye injury.
Can you imagine looking at it through a telescope? No protection.
You just fry him. It's like I got a frying pan.
But I mean, really, how many random people are going to look up today and not realize what they're doing?
I can look at it for a second. I
never really look up anyway. Do you guys look up a lot?
Not a whole lot, unless I'm trying to sneeze.
More at night.
Yeah.
What is crazy, I've noticed, I think someone made this observation, every time you hear a helicopter, you always look up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a helicopter, not really a plane.
You're
helicopter.
right. You're right. No, I absolutely do look up every time I hear a helicopter or a fighter jet.
Okay.
Like occasionally you'll get like the Air National Guard jets flavor.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had this guy on before, and he's obviously terrible at his predictions, but TikTok user Radiant Time Traveler shared these following predictions. In a recent video uploaded to the platform, they foresaw 5 major upcoming events, including the creation of the monkey-human hybrid.
All right, been waiting on that.
World War III, an even massive super volcano eruption. The film Prophecy has already had plenty of people on TikTok, whipped them into a frenzy reporting the Mirror, first prediction.
Well, I know, but what's great about this guy is he's not doing like in 2038 all this stuff. This is like we got our first things in May.
Yeah.
Next month we're going.
Yeah, listen to some of this. Now, May 27th, a second civil war will begin in the U.S.
I think we would have heard about it by now, though, wouldn't you?
Texas succeeds from the rest of the country. Other countries will take sides beginning. World War III, nuclear weapons are used, according to this guy. I cannot wait for Civil War, the movie from A24 Studios, to drop this week. I will be there.
What's going to hurt the box office if this happens, though, on May 27th?
Oh, it will.
We're just going to go watch the real thing.
Yeah.
Now, coming June 4th, this one sounds a little crazier than our second Civil War. The first ever monkey-human chip hybrid is made, has fur, tail, can speak to humans and monkeys.
Oh, wow.
Begins teaching other monkeys to speak, and they eventually become full members of society.
Oh, that's good. So the monkeys, we're going to assimilate them into society.
They're going to assimilate themselves.
Dead hit.
That was dead hit.
But the male monkey human mix. Yeah. No, the male monkey human mix. That's
what?
Like they're going to run society, you think? Or
they'll take jobs.
They got the best of both
they'll
worlds.
Be bus drivers, Uber drivers. They'll be
the next prediction.
Imagine taking one home to mom and dad. I've decided to marry a monkey man mix.
Mom.
Don't jump to conclusions.
She's fully assimilated. Okay.
Look, next prediction, July 24th. Now, if the rapture doesn't come for the next 1,000 years, this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen July 24th, but boy, it would be a headliner. Yellowstone volcano will erupt, covering most of U.S. and Canada in ash.
So we discussed this on a recent Mystery Fifth Hour, that there was a volcanic explosion back in, I think, the 6th century, I think is what we talked about. And it made winter in England for 18 months.
Yeah.
Because it covered the sun, like the ash covered the sun so long, it was winter in England for 18 months.
Well,
like
they talk
snow
about
and everything.
What is it, Old Faithful? What is the geyser?
Old Faithful.
Faithful, yeah.
Well, it's just like a ticking time bomb. Nobody knows when those things they could violently just
Tell you
erupt.
where you don't want to be when that goes off is in Yellowstone.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you'll be anywhere. I mean, if it's going to end,
But
end
to your
quickly
point,
for me.
to your point, Yellowstone's the top of the list.
I feel like we've got a better shot being here in Birmingham.
If you see that they're already gone, Yellowstone's gone, and it's coming for Alabama, it'll be here at about 9 o'clock. You'd be like, damn it. I kind of wish I was there to be done now.
I'm going to get in a car and fly down to the Keys as quick as I can, I guess. I don't know.
It's at 10 o'clock.
This.
I got one more hour, though.
Here's the game changer. August 15th. Dragons are going to be discovered in the Rocky Mountains.
In the Rocky Mountains.
They can fly, breathe fire, and speak. This is a game changer. Here's what I don't understand.
Hello,
if
fellas.
July 24th, Yellowstone erupts, we're not going to have Rocky Mountains on August 15th.
That is a great point.
Unless these dragons come from them.
The mountains are going to fall and emerge the dragons.
Yeah. I think he might have painted himself in a corner with that one.
And September 15th, imagine if this happens. This is middle of football season, by the way, so this is horseshit to me. But the first ever hypercane hits the U.S. East Coast. You know what a hypercane is? It's a hurricane with over 500 mile-an-hour wind speeds.
It's pretty fast. It's pretty...
I don't want to be in an ACC game that week.
I mean, we got a packed year.
We do.
We got a lot going on.
That is bad for football. They're not going to kick if they're going into the hypercane. They'll probably just go for every fourth down. No punting.
This one in Nashville. Man is facing more than a dozen charges after being accused of randomly firing several shots into the streets of downtown Nashville and assaulting officers. Do you want to guess why this guy did this? Shots were fired shortly before 6 a.m.
I think when he realized how late the national championship game is going to tip.
Now, police located 26-year-old Craig Jose Miller, also known as, it's a great alias here, Juan Jose Vasquez.
Yeah.
Keep the Jose.
Another individual sitting at the corner of the intersection when asked if they had shot a gun or heard gunshots. The duo allegedly told officers, quote, no. Miller later admitted to officers that he had just divorced his wife, fired 8 rounds as a celebration for regaining his freedom, according to the arrest report.
Wow.
8's a little excessive.
Well, yeah.
Just counting to 8 takes a little while.
But celebrating your freedom.
Look at those shell casings. Just Now, there are a lot of people that celebrate with divorce parties now.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's become a thing. I haven't heard about the firing off rounds to celebrate.
I think I stumbled into a divorce party at Superior Grill before it closed. It was somebody I knew that was at that party, and I was speaking to them, and they're like, well, so-and-so over there who I did not know just got divorced. I was like, oh.
How's the divorce going?
I don't know the person that got divorced. I just knew somebody that was at the party.
If you're having a divorce party, do you invite the other half?
I don't think so.
Well, it's like I'm happy too. This has been a long
You go
run.
have your own party.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only seen, I know of one couple that it was completely amicable on both sides during the divorce.
Right.
You just don't see that.
Yeah, it's very, very rare. Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I threw away the headline, cowboy slang for food and drink?
Yeah, cowboy slang terms for things you eat and drink.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to guess what a boggy top is?
A boggy top.
Good cowboy picture there.
The only cowboys I recognize.
Randy Quaid was disgusted.
Yeah.
Did they have good sleeping quarters, Rockstar?
They did. It was a little rough, though.
I would say a boggy top is a beer. It's got the foam on top.
It's a pie with no top crust.
Why would you want that?
So just like fruit compote.
Actually, I say that, but the strawberry pie at Shoney's was one of my favorite things in the world growing up. Did you ever have that?
I don't. I know what you're talking about. I only went to Shoney's like once or twice.
Oh, my gosh. Shoney's was a staple of my childhood.
Those French toast sticks.
Yeah. I used to love
always beg your mom for the Shoney's bear that we never got.
The breakfast bar was good. I used to get the Slim Jim sandwich there, Rockstar.
No. They had a Slim Jim sandwich?
Yeah, Slim Jim sandwich. Well, it wasn't Slim Jim's. That was the name of the sandwich, was Slim Jim.
Very misleading.
It was like basically like an Italian sub, but they called it the Slim. It was fantastic. Slim Jim and fries, get a piece of strawberry pie on the dessert. Yes,
this is cowboy slang for food and drink. What do you think a dough god is?
A dough god?
Dough god.
Dough god. I'm gonna say it's a burger.
It's a biscuit.
A biscuit. The old dough god.
Saltwater vegetables.
That's fish.
Oysters or clams.
How many cowboys were doing oysters?
I gotta eat my vegetables.
I want my oyster and Rockefeller, please.
Skunk eggs.
Skunk eggs. Deviled eggs.
Onions.
Ah, yeah, it makes more sense.
These nicknames are longer than the actual
This one makes no sense. Mexican strawberries.
No, I agree with this.
Do you really?
No.
I was about to say, what the hell?
What is it?
Beans.
Oh, okay.
Texas butter. I see this one.
This I see.
Yeah.
Texas butter. Gravy.
It is.
There you go. I finally got one.
What about the brown gargle?
The brown gargle.
Go ahead.
I don't know what the brown gargle is.
It's coffee. And finally, noise paint.
Noise paint. What is that?
That's whiskey. By the way, another
noise
Bama
paint.
and Bourbon, we're going to be recording that tomorrow, so it'll drop sometime on Tuesday. It'll be our final until we get ready for fall camp in August.
Oh, no. Are you serious? Our final Bama and Bourbon?
Yeah.
That's going to be sad. Yeah. That is trash, presented by Mortgage Right.
Yeah, our friends at Mortgage Right, best in the business, been with us since day one. And if you're a veteran looking for a VA loan, Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply. MortgageRight.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
So just a quick recap of what we've talked about on the show. The Kentucky opening now that John Calipari is on his way to Arkansas. The Alabama loss to UConn, and tonight's Purdue-UConn championship game for the Final Four. Dunaway will rejoin us in a moment from out in Phoenix. And also Auburn A-Day. So we've gotten to a lot today. One thing we have not touched, a major development for the Atlanta Braves that have some saying Dunaway has landmined the Braves. I don't think it's a landmine. We'll discuss it when we return. Dr. B, though, helping you grow your hair back, Lance, and he can do it for everyone in our listening audience, male or female.
Yeah, look, when I started to thin out, Dr. Beckenstein is the name. Everyone said you need to reach out and contact this guy. Since the first consultation to where we are now, the hair has more than doubled in thickness. I'm doing that non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes, 3 times each week on the couch. That is it. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Tell him the next round sent you. They will hook you up with that consultation. 205-319-0316. For more information, go online today. Go to t3hair.net.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
All right, one more segment of the show to go before Dunaway heads over for the national championship game tonight. A reminder, you can still get that Next Round golf card. Limited time, though. You need to get it now. There's no restrictions. It's good through October 2024. 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Historic Woodward Golf Club, but newly renovated. It's all presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. It's a value of $247 for just $99. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Card for $119. All 4 courses and cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf T-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. NextRound.store for this. NextRound.store. It expires on the 24th of October, so you got all summer to use it. Dunaway is back with us from out in Phoenix. He's been out there with Little T, all courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round at mybookie.ag. Did you go to the championship game when it was Virginia, Texas Tech, the last go around?
I did not. I was telling this to Little T yesterday. We were soaking in a little sun out at the pool, and I was like, I didn't go to the national championship because on our morning show on the Monday up, we had paid the hotel we were at to lay us a fiber line for us to do the show, and we dropped 3 times in the first 30 minutes of the show. And Brown had me on a flight before the end of the show. I remember leaving the show at 6:30 Central Time, getting on the plane. There was one flight that you got me on before the show was over with at 10 o'clock, that I was in the air before the show was over with, flying back to Birmingham so I could be back on Tuesday for the show.
You don't remember You don't remember the backstory there, do you? Because this was a bit. I helped you there, but there was I had a benefit of it. You don't remember that?
Yeah, you got the what's it called?
No, I got Masters.
Not the miles.
No, I got Masters tickets. At the last minute.
Minute, I remember that.
Yeah, somebody called me over the weekend, and they were like, "Hey, I got 2 practice round tickets for Tuesday. If you know anybody that you and somebody else." So he gave me. They were free.
Right.
Free Masters Tuesday practice round tickets. So me and my buddy David Morris went over there for it, but I had to get you home first. So when it started, when the signal started dropping, I called Dunaway. I was like, "Hey man, if I were you, I just head to the airport." And Dunaway's like, "Well, Brown, I can't get a flight." I was like, "Oh, I'll find you a flight. Don't worry." So I sold that one hard.
I'd forgotten that. Little T was asking me, "So why was Brown booking your flights?" And I said, "I don't know. He's really good at it."
Oh, no, there was an ulterior motive. I had to get to Augusta. I had to get you home for a Tuesday show so I could go to Augusta. It worked.
I was wondering why I was rushing back so quick.
It worked out. Thank God it worked out. All right, so you'll go to your first national championship game tonight, so congratulations on that.
Yeah. I will be there tonight. Would you read the text that Little T sent you? She's doing her part of the show remotely today. Would you read the text to everybody out loud? I can't do it.
Yeah, this was this is so good. This was a text to us here. So Little T, back at the hotel, she's monitoring the show from the hotel. She decides, I'm going to sit at the tables out by the pool to work because I need to get out of my room. It's 9 a.m. out there. Who's going to be at the pool, right?
Right.
You know who's at the pool?
I see this.
The Yale basketball coach.
Well, I mean, what's more impressive? Little T was able to figure out that's who that was, or me pulling the Army basketball coach out by the pool.
That's a good
in
point.
Ocean City.
That's a good point. We have a history. Our show has a history of seeing random college basketball coaches at the pool. Little T decides to head out to the pool, and who does she see? The Yale basketball coach. Cannot get away from that guy.
It's full circle because last night she was like, "I don't understand it, Jim. Every comment on social media is so back and forth between Auburn and Alabama fans. Auburn fans are acting like, they somehow won a game against Alabama when Alabama lost, but Alabama fans always answer back with yell, 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 yell." And then she goes out to the pool and there's the Yale coach.
It's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. All right, there was, outside of the football and basketball, there was pretty significant baseball news over the weekend, and it's got some people initially calling a landmine on you, Dunaway. But the Braves placed Spencer Strider on the 15-day deal. Anybody you talk to with this, Lance, thinks it's the second Tommy John for him, which is first of all, before we even discuss landmine or not, that's just awful for Spencer Strider. This guy had fought back, had gotten back to form, and now for the second time in his career, it looks like he's going to have to face Tommy John.
Yeah, I mean, that UCL in the right elbow. He got evaluated once. I think he's going for the second evaluation, but yeah, not looking good. I mean, it looks like most speculation is he will be shut down for the entire season. And boy, just when you saw him at his best last year, it's a big, big loss.
Dunaway, he's going to get the second opinion, as Lance mentioned. Dr. Keith Meister in Arlington, Texas. I don't know if he's like the Tommy John expert or the UCL expert, whatever it is, but they will not make a decision until he gets that. But I mean, I cannot tell you how many Braves fans have told me that that's their expected outcome as a second Tommy John.
Yeah, but it's not a landmine because Strider's name has not come out of my mouth this
Well,
year.
I think they were just saying you picked the Braves. You picked the Braves.
Oh, I did not pick the Braves. I said the Dodgers.
Okay, well then you're
nobody's beating the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And so I did not pick the Braves. I said the Braves would be in the NLCS against the Dodgers. That's everybody's pick. The only guy, if you'd have told me Chris Sale had blown out his arm, that's the only guy I've complimented the way he was pitching in the spring. If Sale gets hurt, which is pretty common with him, then you can landmine it on that one, but not Strider. I haven't even said his name.
Okay, so 0 landmine there. But all of a sudden, that Chris Sale pickup by Alex Anthopoulos in the offseason is genius as you look back on it now. I mean, imagine this pitching staff without Strider and without Sale. What do they look like?
Yeah, and Sale is one of these crafty veterans. As Dunaway said, though, he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not always easy for him or really any pitcher nowadays, right? I mean, we're sitting here with Ohtani coming off of Tommy John, and I mean, Cole is injured. I mean, you just name me a guy who, you feel good about any pitcher making it to the end of the year. Your ace that you got from me, LT, he's coming off of a major injury. He barely pitched at all for us
Tyler
last year in Tampa, Yarborough. Yeah, Glasnow, I mean. So it's every pitcher now seems to be going through this.
By the way, there's been speculation on this already. I was talking with our buddy Doug Segrist, who co-hosts The Zone with me, big Braves fan, and he says he's been watching a lot of people say that they've taught pitchers to flatten out their delivery. He's like, you go watch Nolan Ryan and those guys, they threw more then than anybody throws now.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys all came over the top. And he says a lot of these guys have flattened it out, and it's where these injuries have started, is that flattened out delivery. There's no changing that. I mean, these guys, you got to change that, I guess, at a youth league level. I don't know that you could change it now that the guy's in the majors, but that's the speculation, Dunaway, that's what has led to the increase in arm injuries like that.
Yeah, I don't think God invented the arm to throw 98 with cut on it, right? So
it's true. That's a great point.
If only he knew. We'd never have Tommy John surgery.
Hey, we will give final thoughts on tonight's championship game and put a wrap on the show in a moment. But first, a reminder, NASCAR coming back to the Talladega Superspeedway. 877-GO-TO-DEGA is the number to call, and TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Get your spot at the Geico 500 weekend coming up April 19th through 21st. You can also make it an even better weekend with that garage experience presented by Coolray Big Bills and the great garage area there. Reserve your camping spot. Reserve your seat in the grandstand for the entire weekend. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Dunaway will make his way back over to State Farm Stadium for tonight's championship game. I know how you feel. You think it's Purdue that pulls the upset. Right now, MyBookie.ag has UConn a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, Purdue's guards can't play anywhere, especially Braden Smith. He's been so consistent this year, but turning it over 5 times, a Purdue team that only turns it over 8 times a game. They were horrendous against NC State, but they were still able to win that game by double digits going away. If both teams play their best, I think UConn wins the game. I've just got a feeling that Purdue's defense will throw off this UConn offense a little bit here. Purdue's defense giving up less than 69 points per game. I just think all of the experience from Purdue is going to be the difference here. I know UConn seems like an obvious pick. They've won, 11 straight NCAA tournament games by 13+.
It's crazy.
But I like Purdue in this one.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to take UConn in this one. And LT, since only 2 women, 1 seeds made it to the Final Four, and I won that state, I'm willing to go stake. I'll take UConn and give you the points tonight.
Okay, you want to give me an official number here,
I've
Brian?
got my bookie right now is at 7. Is that where you guys want to play it? UConn -7?
I will not go 7.5. And I assume you won't go 6.5. So let's go 7.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
All right, UConn -7, so a push is out there.
So New York Butcher Shop, stake bet update. New York Butcher
That's
Shop
right.
now.
New York
2
Butcher
up
Shop
right now. Yeah.
And
there you go.
I'm going to be stopping in to, I told you guys about the smash burgers. I did them on Thursday and Friday night this past week. I'm doing steaks tonight. I'm going to stop in, see Jim and the guys at the New York Butcher Shop. Don't forget about those huge deli sandwiches. If you're just looking for a great, fantastic, fresh sandwich with a great selection of fine wines and desserts, New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Trust me, baked beans, the best baked beans I've ever had. Try them. Tell Jim and the guys the next round sent you. Rare quality, well done service. It's the New York Butcher.
So UConn favored 7, the bet. You're 3 up?
Yeah, correction. 3 up. 3 up, yeah.
Okay, 3 up. And we've had 2 on today's show. John Calipari will not make the Final Four at Arkansas, according to Dunaway. You say he will. There was no timetable on that, right? I mean, Cal's timetable is your timetable, but
yeah, at Arkansas. I mean, if he leaves for the NBA again or for another job less than the job he had before him, Kentucky to Arkansas is a downward trajectory. If he ends up coaching at UTSA next, then,
No, I think this is going to be Cal's last stop. I think it's 5 to 7 years. I would lean more 5 years. So I think he'll go to 5 tournaments, and we'll see what happens. But I'll bet on his track record.
Okay, so that was the other stake bet on the show today. Dunaway has put out a call for Nate Oates to say he's not taking any job, no matter what job is offered. We have not gotten that yet, Dunaway. Lance, you're saying you would be stunned if Nate, or not stunned, you'd be surprised if Nate Oates takes the.
I will be very surprised. Yes,
you think it's more likely Dan Hurley?
Yeah, I think Dan Hurley is going to get offered a ton of money in this situation.
I will say, Dunaway, Jeff Borzello, he's ESPN's basketball writer. I've not had time to dig through the article because we've been doing the show, but the tease on the article does not even mention Nate Oates, but it does mention Dan Hurley. I mean, that's a big national guy already tying Dan Hurley as a possibility there.
Yeah. The only reason this is unconfirmed, the only reason Alabama hasn't sent anything out right now is because they're trying to get Roll Tide Willie over to the facility so Nate can say, I don't give a piss about nothing, another job but the Tide.
Well, that would roll me out. If I was like, I got to deal with this Roll Tide Willie anymore, I'm out of here.
God knows there's no Roll Tide Willies at Kentucky. Yeah. This hour presented by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there at Champy's. Enjoy a great lunch. The po' boys, the great chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta, tamales, all great there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Dunaway, enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
I will. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Be careful. Jimmy D out there, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Everybody enjoy the championship game. We'll be back with you 9 o'clock on Tuesday on the next round.